better.
Hashtag D.
Thank you.
We should be good. We should be there.
I hate that.
It's a good song. What do you mean?
I enjoy seeing Firewatch in my Steam like recent games because I accidentally opened it for a minute. Because I didn't realize that you could open games on Steam by just double clicking them. I always click them and then click the play button in the like the pop up happens. So I was flicking through stuff and I accidentally double clicked Firewatch. And I was like, ah shit. Firewatch is open now. I want to play that game again.
I've never played it.
It's a very short game. That's why I was like, I can just play it again.
That's the game where you start just like in like a fire tower, right? And it's like the story.
Yeah, you are a person who is hired to watch over one of
your
the
choices
fire towers.
Definitely matter, right? One of those games.
I mean they might. I don't know. I've only played the game once. It's entirely possible certain things occur based, certain like things happen. I mean, there's like events I missed. Like there's 2 achievements I missed, and both of them are to like do things.
Wait, are you trying to tell me that the game required you to do things, Michael? That's crazy.
Yeah. No, but it's like things you could like actually miss in one playthrough. And I was like, oh,
we're live.
that's neat.
Hi everybody. It's week
Hi.
6. We're talking about episode 8. There's gonna be spoilers and harsh language. Normally I do our typical roundup talk about, but it's already 11:41 at night, so we're gonna get ready to get on into this pretty quick. And if we feel like chatting at the end, we'll chat at the end. With that in mind, I am.
Sorry, you're gonna see me. It's just gonna happen.
How dare?
How dare
you?
Man, who
obtain
would ever
sustenance?
eat on stream as if I don't do it literally every week? Except for this one, because I had a snack beforehand.
Not me. I never eat on stream. Ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen.
he just gave it into his frame 1.
We're going right into it. Power ranking.
No way.
That's power ranking. This is an odd week. We'll give a little bit of context. We were gonna stream Wednesday night, and then this silly goober down here had to go to the dentist. Which I will not flack him for. When I go to the dentist, they're gonna kill me. They're gonna actually murder me.
In 8 years.
Mine's getting cold. Mine's not.
I had to get 5 to 6 fillings. Yeah.
Mine's not that bad, but I haven't been since COVID. And I had a depression and anxiety spike during that time, so you can bet what I wasn't doing, which is taking care of my teeth. Dude, I didn't floss before COVID. You think I floss now? They hate me.
I try very hard.
I never fucking.
Every
It's
now
not my
and then I
grandma
will
works for
throw
a dentist
pieces
office.
of
Dentists
my
hate
teeth.
us.
Help
My
preserve
mouth
them.
is only actively in pain, like, most of the year. It's fine.
Funnily enough, I don't have many dental problems.
Yeah, I don't either.
No, I mean, to be fair, like, I usually have, like, a cavity. It's just I haven't been in a while. So I'm expecting my next visit to be really bad. I also notoriously don't have my wisdom teeth out.
I don't either.
Oh,
But
I got
considering
mine like last
considering the fact
I
that
got mine out when I was like 19.
considering the fact that it's not a problem yet, I'm gonna assume I'm fine. I
So
assume I'll
here's the
know.
thing. Here's the thing. My
Oh,
family's
when
notorious
they
for
start
taking
coming
out,
in bad,
as you guys
you'll
know.
know.
See, mine are good because mine are actually out, like fully. But as you guys know, I have a big fucking mouth, so it works.
Hey, you said it, not me.
I know what I said. I'm nothing if not honest with myself. However, I did have to get like I think it was a 5 or 6 fillings. I don't know the exact number. It was a fucking lot. And so I couldn't. I got home. Mind you, this appointment's at 1:30. I worked the night before, so I worked until 7 in the morning. Took like a 2-hour nap. Went and did this dentist stuff from like 1:30 to like 2:40. Drove home finally because I was on the other side of town by my parents. Got home. Didn't really sleep because it's hard to sleep at that point after taking a nap and like stuff. It's like the cost benefit analysis of sleep versus staying up was not equal. And so I stay up and it was 5:40 when I went, I still really can't feel the entire right half of my face. I looked like I had a stroke because you literally would see my mouth like
Yeah.
this, and then the rest was just like flat, and then here was flat. So I got stuff done in my top left and a lot done in my bottom right. And because it's in the bottom right, they had to poke me twice in the bottom because really numbing up. But so yeah, that was my experience on Wednesday. So my bad, guys.
Yeah.
It's okay.
No, it's all good. I wasn't
My
gonna.
teeth
I
look
wasn't
good
gonna
now.
push you for it. Go. Let's go. My teeth are shit, but that's fine.
Let's go.
Um,
Shitty teeth.
But
My shitty teeth and me. Shitty
I was
teeth,
totally.
shitty teeth.
I'm gonna be with you. I was totally fine holding and doing a double vote off because this was not a week in particular that I felt very strongly about something going. But considering how schedule's working out, our next podcast wouldn't be till next Friday anyway, probably. Effectively,
my bad.
or it would be Thursday after D&D, both of which would be very bad for a double vote off because we'd be starting really late. So I just said, hey, we're doing tonight, and then we'll do next Friday, so long as the apocalypse doesn't occur, or some other strange occurrence, dog. And we will, so we're just gonna, we are just gonna vote something off this week. We have what a great record we have going this season. We haven't missed a week yet. We're killing
it's
it.
wild.
It's not gonna,
We've gotten really close, but we haven't missed. We keep pushing it further and further back in the week, but we haven't missed one yet.
We were
so...
actually consistently Tuesday, Wednesday for most of the podcast. Like it actually just worked out really well. But with that in mind, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I meant when I was prepping when I said we're just gonna start getting into it. We start with Shoshimin now. This is
That's crazy.
That's wild. So
for what it's worth, this was always the second show. It's not that big of a deal, but it feels
we had
crazy.
the Nokotan buffer.
Yeah. Instead, we just go right into a thing that has the podcast split.
Yeah. Excuse me. So, Shoshimin this week. So, Osanai's been kidnapped. And, Kobuto is, losing his mind, trying to figure out where she's at. And he ends up getting a text from her phone, that is telling him about bakery items, and he interprets this correctly to mean this is where I am, because it relates the bakery items to the map that he's made of all the sweet shops that she wants to go to. And he ends up calling Kengo and going, hey, I think I know where Osanai is. She's been kidnapped, by the way. And he goes, you're fucking lying to me. And he goes, no, I'm being serious. The police have been called and everything. I need your help because I think I know where she is, but I want to be right. I want someone to be there because I'm a winner. So they go there, and it's this old gymnasium that is getting worked on. And we find out that the people that kidnapped Osanai were a group that she used to hang out with, and also the same group that Kengo's been trying to figure out that's been selling drugs and shit.
Hang out with's a strong word is a strong alternative to bullied by, but fair enough.
She certainly was bullied by.
And also, that too. We'll get there.
Yeah. They first Kengo and Kobuto watch for a bit, or first they call the police and let them know, hey, we found her, and then they go watch for a bit. And at this point, we find out that Osanai was part of this group for a bit, and then called the police on them and told them, hey, this is what they're doing, and got two of them thrown in juvie. And the main girl of the group straight up pulls a knife on Osanai and almost stabs her before Kobuto and Kengo throw the door open and somehow stop it. We don't actually see the resolution of this. We do see that they do get kind of fucked up because Kengo is no longer there and he's taken away in an ambulance before we actually get the resolution. And then Osanai is saved. She thanks Kobuto. I think that's basically all that happened this episode.
They go to a cafe, and we sting her again on the fact that that Kobuto thinks that Osanai had always planned the kidnapping.
Oh, yeah.
And that's your lead-in for next week's episode.
I really liked this week. It's definitely not at the top of my list, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was actually tense. Like, I got worried for a minute, and I wasn't expecting that to come out of this show, which was interesting. It was also like an actual mystery that had stakes and like consequences if they didn't solve it, which I thought was good. So I enjoyed this episode. I liked it quite a bit. But what did you like?
So I did like the episode. Again, I think Osanai's like whole speech and I think that she has like on the chair with that is fucking wonderful. Osanai is one of my favorite characters like this season. Osanai is wonderful. I wanted more from this episode. It felt like he solved it. I understand he solves it easily because he's given the easiest fucking clue ever to solve it. But like, I understand we're probably gonna get more from that. How the fuck does Osanai know where she is when she's inside of a random gym somewhere? And how is she able to give that kind of a clue? And also, how does she have access to her phone? There's too many things here that don't add up that I imagine we're gonna get, but that's why Kobito's confronting her here, because it doesn't make sense. And also, we got it in episode 7, the really strange phone call the night before.
Yeah.
The way they framed the "come visit me tomorrow" thing was very odd.
Yeah.
Don't come.
So right now I'm kind of, this episode had a lot of cool stuff, but yeah, it really felt like they got through it way too easily for this. So I imagine we're going to get more, because the next 2 episodes are part 1 and part 2, because next one's called something part 1.
I think
It's also the name of the opening, which is sick to me, but like that doesn't matter.
I agree with you because I 100% that like probably the most like the thing that hurts this episode the most is how quickly we resolve the kidnapping. Like it sets it up very high stake, and while like she is kidnapped, it is still high stake. He fucking solves this snap of the fingers, which I get, like that's not the point with how it leads up to it. I'm just not a big fan of payoff to a stinger being another stinger.
Fair.
It feels very meh. It feels like, again, this is one of those like I don't feel like you've earned, like I would have
solution.
Like don't stinger me as hard the first time if you're just gonna lead me into another stinger. Like I would rather you like really set it up and hint at things and let me build to be like, okay, some of this stuff doesn't make sense. Something fishy's going on here. Like, let me get there. Instead, like, you really built up the kidnapping to then have it not
have a big payoff.
Yeah, and even, like, and for what it's worth, I don't, like, it's tense, there's a lot of stuff there. Not getting the actual resolution of the kidnapping itself, not seeing that, I think also hurts for how much it's built up. Like, there was just a couple of things where I was like, but like I don't think the show's bad, and I don't think the episode's bad either. And just wasn't as big of a fan of it as I would have liked to have been for where we're at with it.
Fair.
I'm kind of in agreement with that, where it's like I feel like I wanted more from the situation because it feels like it should have felt higher stakes than it was. Even with it being high school girls that like she got put in juvie before, sure, that's fine. But it feels like these criminals were really put together until they weren't, if that makes sense too. Like leaving the big white unmarked van out was suspicious enough, but I also didn't like that he went and like was like, oh, I gotta go in first, I have to do this first. And it's like, you could call the cops earlier than this. Like at some point you have confirmation, you should just call the police. And I feel like they lingered a bit too long on it, and eventually of course they did, and that's how the resolution gets solved. Just was after they fought with them.
Yeah, cops show up. Probably realistically, the cops show up as they're fighting, and like that's like there is probably no 2 guys
but
took
again,
70, but we don't know. Yeah,
we didn't see any of it because they just kind of like cut. They literally went fade to black. Yeah, you think I got it bad? You should see what happened to the other guy. It's basically what he said, except the other guy's his friend who just got his ass beating up a bunch of like college age girls. Basically.
Yeah, drug dealing girls.
But
I do like the ambulance scene between Osanai and Kobito. I think that scene's very nice.
That was a really good scene. Like we said, those characters together, pretty good.
Yeah.
Good time. Again, I just feel like it felt like it was super rushed. Is I guess kind of the feeling behind this.
There is a shot I do.
And I guess I do have the stinger and stuff, but like it left me wanting a longer bit of this one because it feels like it should have been like at least 2 episodes at least, because it feels like getting kidnapped should be a bigger deal than it was, I guess, to me.
We're just doing it in a different way. I think the biggest sell for me on this show, with like how I overall feel about it, is that I still at this point where we are can't see its climax being better than some of the stuff we actively have, and we're so close to its climax that for me that's like that's just the bar. Like I'm not.
Yeah, like I thought it was building up into the climax with this.
It definitely is. I mean, it has 2 episodes left, so it's whatever this resolution and tying whatever we're going to get from these reveals are going to tie the show up. So like it's just that, do I think that whatever it's going to give me is going to be better than what we have? I'm not sold, right? Unfortunately for me is where I lie with it. There is a shot that I think is absolutely killer, and that's the shot where I don't know if it happens because I don't recall it exactly. I don't know if it happens when they take the blindfold off her or if it happens when she starts to give the speech. But it's the shot where, because earlier you have the shot of her walking along the bridge with the blindfold, and then when Kobuto's looking at her, it does the shot where the blindfold comes off of her on the bridge, and that shot's dope as fuck. That shot's rad.
Yeah.
You know, like, cinematography-wise, it's a cool-ass shot. I thought that was good. But yeah, I kind of feel like we're getting close to the end. We have 7 shows. So, like, we're really just weeding out on, like, personal preference on what we think is better. And for me, this just isn't quite there. Okay, knife.
Fair enough. Knife.
Next up, if we have no other thoughts, is Senpai. So you're gonna have to forgive me a little here. It's been a while. But roughly on Senpai this week, we have the boys. They're together. They're in a relationship. As we expect, Taiga's kind of like, man, yeah, Ryuji, he's like, this doesn't really feel any different from what we were like before. I'm worried that Makoto is just kind of, he's agreed to date me because he wants us to stay friends. We don't get a lot of that necessarily right away. Makoto seems very happy with the relationship. Meanwhile, Aoi goes to the hospital to see her grandmother and calls her dad and leaves a voicemail that, her grandmother's in the hospital. She then goes and sees her grandmother in the hospital. She's okay. So she says. Things will be fine. No need to panic, but she will have to be home alone for a bit. But that shouldn't be too bad. At some point in the process of visiting her grandmother, Aoi scrapes her knee, and absolutely bawls her eyes out because she was worried she was about to lose the only person who's actively in her life right now and cares about her. And that scene fucking hurts. Because the nurse brings a Band-Aid to, like, fix up her knee, and she's bawling on the staircase. We cut back to school. The boys are being the boys. Aoi is chatting with some friends. And there is a mysterious individual walking around their school. So much so that they're going to send everybody home.
Which is crazy, by the way. But good response.
Everybody's getting ready to go home, and Aoi realizes... Yeah, Aoi realizes that Ryuji and Makoto have started dating because Ryuji is waiting for Makoto to change so they can walk home together. And she can tell from Ryuji's face that they are now a thing. And she congratulates him, and she goes home. Aoi is home alone and taking a bath and thinks somebody's outside her window. So she calls the only person she feels she can trust in this moment, Ryuji. Because she thinks that there is absolutely no odd implication that could come from this, because they were once love rivals and now they no longer are. So he's the only person who makes sense to call because it won't be awkward or weird or infringe on anything. So Ryuji comes over because he is worried about Aoi, and she actually took the time to call him, and that means that it's probably something important. So he comes over, and he's like, oh, she seems fine. Oh, no, she hasn't dried off from the shower. She's not fine. She's physically shaking. Okay, what do we got going on here? And then, it seems like somebody's snooping around the house, and Ryuji's like, why are you home alone? And she's like, oh, my grandmother's in the hospital. My dad's supposed to come home tomorrow. I'm sure I'll be fine. He goes, I don't think you'll be fine. And then someone starts to enter their house. And at this point, everybody collectively goes, is her dad a massive fucking idiot? And the answer is yes. Ryuji and her are in a closet together. Not in a very really odd sense.
I mean, to be fair, Ryuji's been in the closet for a while of this show, Sean.
He's been out for a bit now at this point. But, so they fall out of the closet, and Aoi's dad is there, and he's like, oh, thanks for being here with my daughter. What's going on here, man? Yeah, I just came home early. And it's like, why the fuck didn't you tell her this? I don't think Ryuji stays the night.
He doesn't?
He doesn't.
Her dad drives him home.
Yeah. They go to school the next day. The strange figure has been caught, so they say. I'm a little worried about where we're going with this. This is an odd thing to introduce for a one-off gag, in my opinion, but it's here. Makoto and Ryuji decide that they are going to have a Christmas date together. Ryuji's entire family is going to be out of town, and so Makoto's gonna come over on day before Christmas Eve. The 23rd they're doing, I think. So I think it's the day before Christmas Eve. And so they are in attempts to find each other presents, and Makoto is looking for a present for Ryuji, and only finds cute things because he's just shopping for himself on the app that he uses to shop. So he's only getting cute things. He's like, this doesn't work. And then he stops because one of the things is whale themed. He thinks about how nice that would be to buy something for Aoi. Definitely a thing you do while you're shopping for the person you're in love with. Meanwhile, Aoi is spending time with her dad. It's going great. They're having a good time. They go places. They visit they visit her grandmother. They have food. They chat. He's gonna go take her to a planetarium. Something.
Yeah,
I think it's a planetarium. He has a ticket for her and for him. And they're free. And then work called. And there's a once-in-a-lifetime whale opportunity, something along those lines, where he has to go back to work immediately the next day. So he won't be able to do the Christmas plans with the planetarium. He goes, is that okay? And because Aoi's a liar, she says yes.
Like a liar.
Yeah.
Like a liar.
And so he gives her the tickets so that she can go with a friend. And as he walks out the door, Aoi delivers the line of, Dad didn't even notice that I'm hurt, and then starts crying. Because this show is pain. When I first watched this episode, I was not as high on it as I wound up settling with it after giving it a little bit of time. Because the cuts between the stuff with Aoi and Makoto and Ryuji don't feel the best. I feel like the episode would really shine if it was largely just focused on Aoi stuff. But the show's doing it in a chronological order. We have to know what's happening. And I really like the stuff we get with Aoi and Ryuji in the episode, so I can't be, too upset about it. It's just the tone shifts are very drastic from one end to the other in the episode.
It certainly does the chibi art style when they're in her grandma's hospital room. I
am not too upset about that because to me the purpose of that is a lot more to go, no, things are actually fine. It's okay. We as a show are totally telling you that her grandma's fine. You don't have to worry about that. You just have to worry about everything else. Yeah. Again, I am really worried about a setup. Again, Aoi is alone again. We've introduced a strange person who has most likely been caught by the... I'm not comfortable with what the show has laid out. I'm also very interested to see where they wind up taking these relationships across the board. Because it almost feels like we're trying to build like an Aoi Ryuji thing from like an Aoi side of it, but also like not go full hard on that. Obviously, it seems like more of we're setting up like a special person to Aoi would be someone like Ryuji, but obviously she can't have. I'm a little concerned the end of this
Right,
the end of
that's
this
what I
show
was
is gonna
going
be
to.
nobody gets anything they want, which you know what, that wouldn't be the first time. It wouldn't be the most unrealistic thing.
Like, I do agree. It's starting to feel like it's like almost like a love triangle, right? Where it was like, okay,
But in a
instead of,
really
It was
weird.
a triangle.
Now it's
we're rearranging the triangle.
now
Yeah,
it was
now
like,
it's just a different kind of drama.
now it was like this way, but then it's gonna be a circle where it's like A B C, but like also it's kind of like this weird like A B B C.
I think the biggest odd thing about it is that none of the outside of Ryuji and Makoto, like Ryuji to Makoto, I would argue that probably none of the characters feel like they're in love, or like to the understanding that we as of adults have it, right? Like Ryuji definitely loves Makoto. That's the most given thing on the planet. Somehow he's not the gayest person on this week's podcast. We'll talk about it. But like, I to me it comes off a lot more of Aoi and Makoto just need like friends and need to and like that is the thing they are missing, is that like I don't think Makoto loves Aoi. I just think he misses his friend, and he just doesn't love Ryuji the same way that Ryuji loves him. And I think that conflates things for him. It's gonna be interesting. I'm excited to see where it winds up taking the relationships.
Yeah, there's a number of ways it could go. I agree, and especially because, like you said, like the second when she calls him over, it's like, it's odd, but it makes sense. But also, it's just like, is there something there? Is there not? I think it's important for her to explore this, right? Because it's like, this could be that thing where she realizes, oh, this is what a special someone is. It's someone you can rely on like this, and that all this other stuff. And so I just feel bad for her in the end game because she's just in the middle of like 4 people, right? And I don't want to say none of them have feelings for her that way, but none of them really have feelings for her that way. So I feel like she's just gonna get heartbroken again, and like by both of these boys.
Yeah. Michael, what are your thoughts on the episode?
This was fucking great. Like, so you might as well like about the things with the cutting between things. I don't know. I guess it didn't bother me in that way. Maybe the things that stood out this episode kind of pushed past that. Like Ryuji and Aoi's the conversation with her under the kotatsu. Her hitting it with the so when we grow old, it's like this thing doesn't work out,
right?
And I can't find my special someone.
The classic like high school
wanna live together. And he goes, dumbass, that's never gonna happen. You're never gonna not find that special someone. And that's such a good way for him to head. Oh my god, I love Ryuji. He's so good.
He's a based character.
Bomb defusal expert.
Yeah, I largely think like the scene jarring thing was
It's
in
the
the
man
moment.
who's dating someone who's cross-dressing to be an expert at defusing traps.
Shut the fuck up.
Stop.
Shut the fuck up.
No, but it was also like the way
You all thought that was funny as fuck. You guys shut the fuck up. Listen,
You're the
that
one who
was
said it.
good.
But anyway,
Just because it made me laugh doesn't mean it was good.
True.
My bar for humor is somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm like
Great
the way that the show hard cuts on he didn't even mention the scrape once, and just immediately into black. I was like, can't hit me with that show.
You didn't do it. She's right. Oh.
Also, just like the him coming home, like her making. I forgot her making the dinner, and then him coming home drunk to not eat the dinner. Fucking her. It's
and then
so,
also him drunkenly saying, "I'm sorry, I was a terrible dad."
Yeah,
like holy shit.
We also learned
You'll
that
see her mom walking out too. We're gonna see that.
Her mother might not be dead. She might just have left when she
just
was
left
a kid.
him.
We don't know.
No, and it certainly seems like she left because Aoi said she didn't love her mom as much as she loved her dad.
Well, it's not just that. It's that she missed her dad because she never saw her dad, which is a common thing for kids to have happen. Is like, hey,
But
the
how
one
it
that's
was
absent is the one I
Yeah.
miss. But
It's
definitely
It's
she
very
left
much-
her dad because her dad was never around, probably.
No, it's very much supposed to show that even if that wasn't exactly the problem, that's how Aoi sees it. She thinks she was the problem.
And
She's
for-
in her brain, she's the reason.
and for
Because
all
kids
we
are
know,
bad.
her mother might leave and then get into an accident and die. Like, that can still... Because the Shut of the Crows is a pretty...
Her mom could still be dead, guys. Listen, it's very
it's-
Her
important.
mom could also be living in the town over and like come in episode 12 and be
Her
like,
mom could also be Makoto's mom, which would be
No,
like crazy.
no, they don't
I don't
look
want
at
that
all...
one.
They don't look at
No,
all
they don't.
the same.
super different.
Yeah, but they could be remarried. You never know.
They have, like-
Be crazy.
I'm saying he's older.
Knock it off.
By like a year.
I know, we're talking about incest next. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm sorry.
There's only a bit of it in this next episode. There wasn't a
Anyway.
lot.
No, there wasn't a lot. Darn it.
Any other thoughts about Senpai?
No,
No, I
it's
think
a
it's
really
great.
good episode.
God, this show's fucking great.
Got a lot of very difficult names.
I was so happy to see Aoi be like the focus of this episode because she's really been like sidelined for the past few because we've been focusing a lot more on the Ryuji stuff.
Yeah, we've gotten so little Makoto in the past.
Yeah, and,
Like,
yeah, it's been a while. Episode like 3 and like and a half was like
Listen,
the last
guys,
time
this
we
is
really got,
Ryuji's
like,
world,
super
and we're just
Makoto
living in it.
Heavy stuff.
I'm really excited for no matter what happens with this to probably still go read it afterwards in whatever form because I believe it's like a webcomic. So I imagine it's gonna look really interesting. And I know some people, when this started, were a little worried that it wasn't gonna adapt fully. But if I'm enjoying this as is, I know I'm gonna enjoy the source material just as much, if not more.
And in defense of the show, I think a lot of the chibi stuff is just animation studios got to save money somewhere.
It also seemed to imply though that they do that general art style in the comic too. Like they do those gags in kind of that similar visual way. Which I think makes sense because the longer we've had it, the more it definitely doesn't feel out of place. Like, it definitely feels like that. Those cutaways are
It
intentional.
definitely feels gag manga-esque at times.
Yeah.
Right. But
Next.
not a bad way though. Show's good.
Something else I need to mention. The way Aoi pronounces the word "yay," direct dopamine directly into the veins every time she said it. It reminded me of when Rimuru says "yes." So it's like that same vein of like
Yes.
really silly pronunciation of a word.
There have been scenes in this show that live rent free in my head. Like in the episode where they do the group study session and she runs to the bathroom and she might just be saying bath, bath, bath. Whatever the fuck she says there, just the way it is delivered just fucking sat in my brain for like 2 weeks. I'm like, what a good character. She's
Good
adorable.
character. What a good girl. I wish her happiness.
Maybe.
Good for
We
her
wish,
here.
we wish
We
for
hope
happiness
she
for all
finds
three of
love.
them, and there's no way all three of these people are going to be happy.
Can't they just all be polygamists and just, you know, kind of just
I
all...
definitely don't think that's gonna
like-
work.
That's my
that's
OTP
that's like
ending.
technically the best ending, but that doesn't work with this group.
It could. You never know. Have they tried? Maybe that's what love is.
No. No, they haven't. Okay, John.
Any more thoughts on this show, guys?
I think we're good. I think we can move into
Okay.
Russian.
So, in the Russian show this week, we have the Student Congress, which is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. It is just a straight up school assembly where it's like, hey guys, listen, we got an issue, and we want you guys all to watch so you can get out of class for 20 minutes. Thoughts?
True.
And so the student council basically hosts this debate between, you know, the student council represented by Alya and the opposing party, which is represented by Chisaki, who's like the former like middle school, but like
She was
person-
on. She was
no,
on
it's
the.
Sayaka, who was running for office against Yuki back in junior high school. Chisaki is the vice president. I got that mixed up because they both
Yes.
have black hair. But so basically Sayaka leads off with like, hey, here's the issue we're presenting: is that teachers should have to approve of who is an elected official. Basically, spurred on by the fact that she thinks that Kusei shouldn't be allowed to be run for vice president because he's not eligible because he's lame and lazy. And the real reason we find out later, but basically it's put on like, hey, teachers should have to support the president and the one running with them, basically, because otherwise then anyone can win the election. To which the argument is like, well, no, because the student body should be able to choose their electorals. It's a student government ran kind of program, and taking away this power takes away power from the students and puts it onto the teachers, which is kind of defeats the whole purpose of like this student elected leader, right? It's kind of the argument from the student council, which they kind of go back and forth on, and then eventually Alya gets peer pressured into like almost having a panic attack. To which Kusei's like, all right, you did good enough, I got this. Hey fuckers, we're bored as shit. Let's get out of here. she's cringe, but like, I mean, look at the president. He was cringe too. He was super cringe, worse than Alya. But like, you guys love this guy. He used to be fat and unloved and hated by everybody, but now he's the president. And you guys all like him. So like, it worked out. Like, I mean, it was pretty cool.
We get the most based argument of all time that always works, which is, why are we even here? What are we doing
like, guys,
here?
what are we doing here? We already elected it. Clearly it works. We like this system. Let's just keep it that way. Whereas the other party has her friend, I think it was like Nona? Nanoa?
Nanoa.
Nanoa basically is just like the girl that knows everybody. Person like the Kushida from Clash of the Elite is how it feels like, because she has fucking moles planted in the audience to go, yeah, dude, this guy, what is she even doing? She's like, what does she know about her school?
Also,
she's Russian.
Just the most Ai Hayasaka coded character I've ever fucking seen in my
Yeah,
life.
the
I think she's
design,
great,
that
though.
design is very
It's very high soccer.
Yeah.
But the character's great. I like how she's just like, listen, I'm just here with my homie. I'm just here just to support Sayaka. So don't take it against us. But
yeah, Sayaka runs off
in
stage.
the end, Sayaka runs off because she's salty. And Alya runs after her, and Kusei's just like, why are you going too? We have to win first. And he's like, I take this as a withdrawal. And they're like, yeah, whatever. So they go run after Sayaka, to which Sayaka realizes that the real reason why she did this is because Yuki and Kusei was her OTP, and because her OTP is no longer broken up, she's bitter about it. But she sees that, hey, you two kind of work together too, so I'm okay with it, actually. It's basically the TLDR of it.
She's actually just an AO3 reader.
Actually, just AO3.
We get a lot. We have a lot of those
I
this
thought
season.
this is pretty great. We also have like the end
There's
scene.
like 3 of them in the show.
We have this end scene though with Kusei sitting next to Alya, where she's just like, so why did you ask me about my boobs? And he's like, no reason at all. Definitely not to refocus you because you were having a panic attack. To which she finds out 2 important things. 1, she's close but doesn't say which way in Russian. And 2, he then turns around on her and goes, well, why did you want to choose me anyways to begin with? And to which she says something in Russian that we don't get a translation to, either in English subtitles or in Japanese with Russian subtitles. We just get Russian for that, which is probably something like, because I love you, idiot. And so we move on from that and we go to Black. But I thought this episode was fine. I didn't expect the student congress to be the entire fucking school. I thought it would just be in front of the student council. But I guess the idea is you're bringing an issue to the student council, and because it's a electoral of the students themselves, it is in decision of the entire student base, basically, which is actually a pretty cool system. Very time consuming and kind of difficult to manage, though, probably if you have more than, I don't know, 3 issues a semester.
Right.
Or it has to be like something that is like voluntarily done outside of school, and that, which, because, you know, in Japanese schools, student council is a big deal.
Yeah.
Unlike here, where it's just a joke.
It's kind of a thing.
It's
just a thing
it's
that
a
exists
bigger
for
deal.
status.
It's a bigger deal in college, but even then, it's more of like a just to make sure things are running right amongst the students.
Yeah, what did you guys think of this episode?
I really liked it. I thought it was great for basically every character. There wasn't really anything for me to have a big gripe about. Quite literally, the only down of this episode for me is I am not a fan of the voice for the Nona in the dub. I much prefer her sub voice. I went and checked it afterwards. But on the other hand, I prefer every other dub voice, so it's like you take what you get.
Opposite. I like the yo, cool.
I just don't-
I think it's good. I think it's some of her pronunciations are a little whack. The way she says her name is Miyamae
Dude,
comes out super fucking whack.
You would
really
never
weird.
have gotten me to get her name from the dub read of it.
That's fair.
But I don't know. There's also just something that like I think it lacks a little too much emotion for me. Like it's a little too zoned out in the dub. But again, it's nowhere near a big enough deal to drag the show down. Oh, you forgot the part where we had Yuki masterminding.
Oh yeah, Yuki with masterminding, sitting up in a room. She's like, "Why do you think I set this up? It's really hot in here, but I have to be the evil villain for this story." And she goes, "Don't the villains usually lose?" And she's like, "Not the point." But
Gremlin child, as always.
There's so much.
Yuki's the best character in this show, but like, there's a lot of good characters in this show, I feel like.
No, I really liked how this episode, resolved everything. I liked the arguments that we got. I liked showing off the dynamic between, Alya and Kusei. I think it shows how well they work together. I really enjoyed this episode. I didn't have any real issues with it.
It's wonderful that this show, like, I think the reason why I enjoy this show as much as I do, also goodbye John.
He's fine.
he's, the reason why I think I enjoy this show as much as I do is because, like, the characters do feel like real characters, aside from Yuki, but even then, kind of.
Yuki feels so much like a fake character that it works.
Yeah, but, like, Kuze specifically just feels like a teenage boy, in my opinion. Like, he just fits. He's just the right amount of, okay, you're a semi-charismatic dude in high school. Okay, no, this works. The characters in the show are very well written, and I love them. So, very good show.
Yeah, his cast is fucking amazing. Kuze is one of my favorite characters in anything ever. I love this man. He's so good. I also love Yuki, but that's for a completely different reason than I like Kuze. They're two very different ends of the spectrum of why I enjoy characters.
I think that Kuze really is, if you take Ayana Koji and you humanize him a little more, which is absolutely not the point of Code. Like, he's the way he is at the beginning of Code for a reason. But, like, if you humanized him a little more, you would get Kuze. And I think that works really well in, like, a private school setting, for, like, a character like this, who, like, seemingly is really fucking talented at things. You just don't get this. You only get, like, small glimpses into it, and otherwise is a fucking degenerate because that's how he's chosen to live his life.
Yeah, so good.
Character's just so good. And Alya is also great. She fucking kills it this episode.
Yeah. Next up, we get a show that decides it wants to take a little bit of a break. Wistoria. This week on Wistoria, we recap the end results of the tournament. I'm trying to remember his name. The professor.
We know? Oh, Werner?
Yeah, Werner warns everybody that while it is great that this is, that you would expect maybe things are gonna go okay. They're at the Dwarven Inn Tavern celebrating. And Will needs to be careful because this isn't just gonna suddenly be everybody loves Will, and that things are gonna go great. There's gonna be complications to them knowing how strong he is now. And we'll get back to that in a minute. Meanwhile, we get the reveal that as punishment for losing, Julius and his goons have to work at the inn, and it's wonderful. This entire set of events is great. It's perfect comeuppance for it. I love the fact that he does it. He doesn't. We kind of talked about it. It makes sense in his character that he did lose. We find out that everyone kind of got fucked over, because Julius loses. So he doesn't really get scouted. Will's entire team fought with each other, so none of them really get scouted. So this tournament was kind of a big L for a lot of people. We also find out that Praxis is coming. They've loosely talked about Praxis, but Praxis is going to involve them going down into the dungeon. They explain this in more detail later. They are going from floors 7 farther, I think, down to 10, I want to say, maybe.
Well, it's floors 5 through 10 are fully up.
Yeah, I thought they started at 7.
No, they started at 5. I'm pretty sure.
It's not as important, but
it's 5 or 6.
Yeah, well, because they have like, I thought it was 7, 8, 9, 10. I thought they only had 4 levels. They had the levels they were at, and then they had.
No, they started at 6, and they showed 2 base camps at 10.
Yes. So they have base camps at each level for them.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point. So this is going to allow people to get upwards of like thousands of credits if they somehow manage to do spectacular feats and clear through a bunch of these dungeon floors. Which, as we get introduced to later, is not a very likely thing because they warned the students that people fucking die doing praxis. But we'll come back to that because that's all the end of the episode. And before that, well, people want Will to join them for the praxis. We also learned Scion decided not to come to the party because why the fuck would he? But everybody wants Will to join them. I think including Scion's goons. I think the two of them are here, and they're like, "Yo, Will, you should go in the dungeon with us," because I'm pretty sure the names match up. And Colette gets worried because she thinks everybody's here to pressure Will and wants him to join, and that they don't have the right to do that because of how they've treated him prior. But Will's fucking head over heels for this. He loves the attention. He thinks it's great. He finally thinks this is what it means to have friends. And Colette goes, "No, none of you get to have him. And none of you get to do anything with him tomorrow, because tomorrow him and I are going shopping." And Will goes, "We are? I guess we are." And then he goes home, and we get a scene of Colette chatting with her bestie, where she's like, and her bestie's like, "So you're going alone shopping with Will? Like a date?" And she goes, No, it's not a date. I promise you, no, it's definitely not. "What if it's a date? What if I make it a date?" Meanwhile, Will goes home and he goes, "Yeah, I'm going shopping tomorrow." And Rusty goes, "Why?" He goes, "Colette wanted us." Well, he doesn't say. He goes, I was dragged in to go shopping, but you know what? It works out. I need a bunch of shit." And Rusty goes, "So you were invited to go shopping. Was it with a girl?" And Will goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "So it was Colette?" And he goes, "Yeah." And Rusty goes, "I see." And then the plan begins. So Colette looks fucking adorable. Really gets ready to go all in on this date. And then Rusty shows up with Will. And Colette kind of goes, "What's going on here?" And Rusty looks at her in the eyes and goes, "You think I was going to let you go alone?" And he fucking slips his hand in the most seductive way into Will's hand. And they lock and hold hand. And Colette goes, "Will, what's going on there?" And Will's like, "Oh, Rusty just is really big into physical affection. He's just my roommate." And they go, and John, you're muted.
No. I'm muted for my sake.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
I definitely didn't forget because Amber
Yep,
DM'd me
definitely
and said,
not.
"Hey, did you flame people on my account?" And I said, "No, I definitely did not flame people on your account, honey. Why would you suspect that? I would never do that on your account."
Never. But so Rusty gets in the way for the entirety of the date, to a point where they get drinks, and Rusty hands one to Colette, hands one to Will, and Colette goes, "Where's yours?" And he goes, "Well, I could just drink Will's." And Colette's having none of this shit. So Colette looks to Will, and Colette goes, "What's going on between you and Rusty? You can't just be roommates." And Will's like, "No, we're roommates. We do roommate things. We bathe together." She goes, "You bathe together?" And he goes, "Yeah, we bathe together."
Like, with the homies.
And she goes, "Are you sure that Rusty's a guy?" And he goes, "Well, yeah, we bathed together." And then we get the world's most base screenshot of all time. Where Will goes, "He's got the proof on him, bigger than mine, actually." And Colette goes, "What did you just say?" And he goes, "You heard me." And then Colette and Rusty go, "Will, you should go fix up your sword, because you're gonna need to fix up your sword, and the dwarves aren't gonna really appreciate mages going with you. So you should just go do that. We'll be fine. It's okay." And Will goes, "Sure," and walks away. And he goes, "This has been a really weird day." Meanwhile, our lovebirds are left together as their lover leaves. Unfortunate that neither of them are going to win this. And Colette goes, "Okay, you think you have Will." And Rusty goes, "Well, I bathed with him. What about you?" And Colette goes, "That's not fair. I get hugs and I hold his hand." And Rusty goes, "I bathed with him." And unfortunately, they are at a stalemate. Meanwhile, Will is on his way to get his sword spruced up, and he gets pulled away by is it Liliana? Lihana, who is the lightning mage. And she goes, "I need you to come." She goes, "Would you mind going somewhere with me?" And he goes, "I mean, I don't not mind." And she's like, "Cool, it won't take long." Drags him to a random conference room all the way back on campus. Takes up half his day.
Not a conference room on campus.
Is it a place in her family's estate then?
She takes him to the most expensive tea house in the city.
Let's go. Incredibly base. So, Will gets treated to some base tea. He walks in, and all the guys are there in dapper-looking suits. Scion,
Scion looks fucking great.
Yeah, Julius, and Elfman. That starts with a W. Wignall, thank you. Wignall, yeah.
I think it's like wind goal.
No, you just think it because he uses wind. It's Mason's right. It's Wignall.
Wingle?
Wignall. You're thinking of
Pelipper.
the
I
card.
hate
You're thinking of the
Pelipper.
card by Vanguard card. card.
No, I knew it was Wignaw.
Yeah.
I know Wingdoll's the card fight.
Yes. But, so, Sire and Julius immediately go, why the fuck is this loser here? To which Wignall goes, you mean the guy who beat your ass? And they go, shut the fuck up. You're not involved in this conversation. And Liana goes, well, Will, I want you to join us for Praxis. And Will goes, you want me to join you guys for Praxis? And everyone goes, and Will and Scion and Julius go, why the fuck do we want him to join us for Praxis? He's just gonna get in the way. The man can't use magic, he's not gonna be able to search. And Liana goes, I don't know, he seems pretty competent. I think we could use him. He adds something to the team we don't have. And Wignall goes, he kicked both of your asses. And then he uses flower magic to calm the room down? Question mark?
He uses his reality marble to put them in the...
No, he uses illusion magic that only the elves have.
Yeah, nothing funky gonna go on with that.
Which is bullshit.
Yeah. Already.
No, it's like
You
a
get
Genjutsu
two-
being just a thing the Uchihas do,
You get
essentially.
2 types of magic? That's not fair.
We'll get
Kunai
some-
until 20
we'll get
episodes
2
in, when
kinds
she
of
forgets she
magic.
can do it.
Well, it's got righty and lefty magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, Wignall basically goes,
He has slashing magic.
Liana's top of the class. I trust her in any choice she is gonna make, and if she thinks Will's good for the team, I think Will's good for the team. Now, do you two wanna raise a point against Liana? Do you think you're better enough, good enough to argue it? And everyone just kind of sits there. And Liana talks a little bit about her family. She implies that her family doesn't live very long, that they're also like mage Valkyries of some kind.
From the like mid card that we get of her,
She also doesn't like her family.
Yeah, she fucking hates her family, and also what she says, basically, they're the magic cops.
Yeah.
They're the Uchiha.
She seemed from
Police have
her
police.
mid card. She seems absolutely wonderful. And so she goes, "Here's a cup. If you're in to do praxis together, put a coin in the cup." And she gives everybody a coin that has something related to them, which is like it's all just like themed coins. It's really cool. Will's is a sword. Everyone puts their coins in the cup, and we got a team. Will then returns, and Colette and Rusty go, "Where the fuck have you been?" And he goes, "So I'm doing praxis with all the assholes." And they go, "What?" And then we cut to the day of, and they have all gone down to the floor to get ready. And Rusty's like, "I'm an artificer. I'm stationed here. I've given you all the things I can give you. You're gonna do great, bud." And then he glares at Colette. And then Colette walks down with Will, and everybody goes, "Why the fuck is Colette here?" And Colette goes, "Well, if Will's going, I'm going." And Liana goes, "Sure, I guess." And then we get ready for praxis. Meanwhile, on a lower level of the floors in praxis, someone's killing people. Gotta have a stinger for an antagonist. I like this episode. It definitely, I think, leaves some room for some stuff. You know, I think it has room to have been a better episode, but I think given the fact that it's a cooldown leading into like the last arc of this season of the show, I think it sets up things really, really well. I'm interested in learning more about like I'm interested in getting more of these characters together actually like working as a team. I'm very interested to see what's gonna come out of this. And where it's going to kind of like move the show in relation to like its actual big story.
Dude, the Rusty and Colette stuff had me in fucking stitches. Like, I fucking love those two. I love Rusty just showing up day of, just be like, "Yeah, I'm Will's roommate," and just like sneaking the hand in there and just be like, "Yeah, we just kind of chill, hang out in the dorm like boys do, bathe each other, stare at each other's cocks." I mean,
Polish each other's swords, or maintain each other's swords. I think they use the term.
I
or
maintain
something,
his sword.
something like
I think
that.
I
It's
think
one of the
literally
things where it's very clearly like they're talking about something else, but it's like, God, that's intentional.
I have never seen a gayer character in anime, and I've watched like multiple BL. It's
Rusty's
wild.
the goat. Rusty's the fucking goat.
Rusty.
I'd like to remind you that
I really
Rusty's...
thought that Colette, cute as hell.
Yeah.
I love her outfit. It's so cute.
I
Her
thought
roommate also totally in on it. Great.
I thought it was really funny that it's like, okay, Colette's worn this really nice, cute date outfit. What's Will gonna be in? Because you know he ain't gonna be dressed, and he's just in his regular attire, but without like all the overcoats. Yeah, he's just in a regular button-up shirt, like a loser. We get a really silly scene at
Hey,
the end of the
peace,
episode where they all get ready to go into praxis, and Will puts his goggles on in a way that his goggles should not physically be able to go onto his head, but I think it's really funny.
Sean. I'm sorry.
He doesn't see the problem. And I like this episode. I'm really excited to hopefully get a lot from these characters.
Pretty agree. I actually just really like this episode. That's why it's so high for me. 'Cause I liked the cool breakdown. Like let's relax for a second and actually like just not constantly be in a state of murder.
So, I know I had this really low, but this week was really hard to power rank for me. And, I mean, while I enjoyed this episode a lot, also no action in the action show makes me, like, it gives me a weird disconnect, which is fine. I'm glad it had this episode. I'm not saying this was a bad episode or that I didn't like it. It just, like,
I get it.
had to put something at 6.
Yeah, so well.
Michael.
Yeah, I mean, I have it at the exact same spot, and I'm trying to think exactly why I did that. I think it's really, a lot of this cast I'm not a big fan of. Like, I think Sion and I think Julius' stuff in the first half of this episode when he's working at the door and stuff, like the single like sentence we get from him is great. Why the fuck does Sion and Julius still shit on this man? He absolutely cooked both of them in a row.
And they're still salty as fuck. Is why.
Like, he fucking cooked their asses. And why are they going? Why is he here? Bro, he's better than you.
That's literally what they said. But I like the show for checking them on it. She literally goes,
Yeah.
Did you guys
I mean,
not just
I
get
do like that
bodied by him?"
Wignall and Liana called them out and go, he cooked your ass. Both of you.
At the same...
roasted on live TV
I love
in
it.
front of all the good wizards, unlike you who suck.
I think I probably should have raised this higher because I just thought about something as well. It's the fact that Wignall specifically is the one that's like, he beat the fuck out of you guys. I want him here. Which is wild considering he's the elf that notably fucking hate people that don't have magic. They literally wiped out the dwarves.
Will's an honorary dwarf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even he's like, no, I fucking give it to this guy.
There's also the bit in the tavern where Workner thanks the dwarves, and he is specifically talking to one dwarf, and he's like, thank you for taking care of Will, and everyone's like, why the fuck is he just talking to that one guy? Also, like, you don't have to do that. That's weird. Stop doing that. But that bit is I get a kick out of that bit for no good reason. I think it's such a funny little thing to do.
Can I just say as well, it's wild that Werner is allowed to be at this party when some of his students are, like, clearly not having a great time here. But
He does say, like, I think he does say, like, I maybe shouldn't have actually come here.
true.
It's also crazy that Kiki's gonna go down into praxis with Will.
Mm-hmm.
You would feel like maybe this would be the one time it'd be like, okay, keep the magic sensor device away. But
It's kind of cheating.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little curious about these other professors who have just been existing in background shots. The one who looks like she's a fucking vampire.
Yeah.
And, like, the other dude, and then we got, like, some just other people we've never fucking seen before. I'm like, what are we doing? What are we cooking? I want to know.
The professors are going to try to help, like, keep kids from dying if possible.
Yeah.
Basically. So they're probably going to be around.
Some of you may die on praxis, but that is what praxis is for.
That is a sacrifice we're willing to make.
We also do get a bit where Liana talks about the fact where she's like, everybody who's not in this room right now doesn't matter. They're not important. None of them will ever be good enough to get to where they want to be. Those of us in this room right now, we have a chance to be Magia Vendor. And Will's like, oh fuck, I actually like where your head's at. And that's the thing that sells him. But, like, the fact that she just unabashedly, it's like, no one else fucking matters. None of these people make a difference. They're literally just extras sitting here to fill the school. Like, we are the only people who even have a remote chance to go into that tower. And that's not a good thing, by the way. She's like, that's also not good, but we gotta do it.
I she literally calls them placeholders, is what
Yeah.
she says, basically.
Yeah. It's wild. She's not wrong. It's the worst
She
part.
is very blunt and honestly fair.
Yeah.
We also do get a little bit. There's a tiny bit dabbled in during the Roxy Colette conversation, where Rosty's like, "What do you like?" They mention Colette having met Will, and that like she changed as a person after that. Like she was not always like this.
Ice Princess vibes, Fog.
They're really dangling that little backstory bit with them that I'm really itching to get.
I'm sure nothing
Horrible is
will
going to
come of
happen.
that, Sean.
I have an idea of what's going to happen simply because of the opening.
What does it mean? What does it mean when they go bah? Michael,
I
you
don't
know
think
why?
there's some sick magic coming up, which is cool.
Yeah, Michael, you know why it frustrates you that people get their ass kicked and don't immediately go, that guy's actually based as fuck because you've been reading Black Clover.
Like Black Clover, where everyone immediately goes, okay, this person's kind of rad, when they get their ass kicked.
Yeah. Every character is like, oh damn, that person's actually cracked as fuck. Is my entire view of the world wrong?
But like,
It kinda
after we'll
happened
beat
in
someone's
the
ass and they will
actual, to be
immediately go,
fair.
okay, wait, he cooked. Let him cook, actually.
And some people it takes a really long time for them to get that realization, but that realization's always fucking good in Black Clover. It's never a bad realization.
I mean, Shion is like close to that realization, but he's still a little bit bitter. Because he wants to be the one that that gets cooked by him only.
Yeah, it's that Sion's actually gay for Will. We're not gonna get into that ever. But like,
Fine.
Look, everybody loved Will, whether they believe it.
he got mad that Will didn't pay attention to him. All I'm saying is that's pretty gay.
True.
It's like at least 30% gay.
Like, again, not Rusty levels of gay, but like, there's definitely some gay in
There's a little bit of gay in that boy.
He's like pushing the hangers aside.
Mason, no.
That's a good one. I love that one. That's a great
I'm
one.
proud of that one. That was good.
Oh man, that was good. Pushing the hangers aside. So Sean,
Yeah. Oh, I've already.
you,
What's up?
do you have Pseudo Harem? What's Pseudo Harem?
No, Elusive's first.
Elusive
Elusive.
next.
I keep
Oh yeah,
It's
it's
Mason next. I had to go
So-
check because I wasn't sure if it was me or him next.
I could not remember.
Yeah, I had to go check. I was like, it's either my brain just forgot Elusive like happened this low. My brain forgot where the show happened. I'm like, I know we end with Pseudo Harem. It could be something. Anyway,
Elusive Samurai.
So Elusive Samurai. Most of this episode is devoted to the battle that happens in this town. We start off this episode where they're planning it out, and as they're kind of planning it out, Tokiyuki is kind of looking at Fubuki and he's like, "Damn, this guy's rad. I bet he'd be a great teacher." And he goes up to Fubuki and he's like, "Hey,
You're rad.
can you help me out for a sec?" And so he asks Fubuki to train him, and Fubuki teaches him a technique that he thinks would be perfect for him because he believes that he is the kindest, most gentle, and cruelest warrior he's ever met in his life. So he teaches him a technique called, I believe it's called the Demon Blade Buddha Slice.
Yeah.
no, it's the Demon Heart Buddha.
Demon Heart
They
Buddha.
don't say blade. That would be
I
cool.
couldn't remember. It's been a minute.
Michael heard the name, he goes, that's dumb. I heard the name, I went, that's based.
I thought it was based as fuck.
It wasn't far enough into the ridiculous to be cool. It was just kind of like not there yet.
It's a
I
little,
don't know.
It's a little too
He's
on
gotta,
the
do
nose.
the, he's gotta do the technique first.
Yeah, maybe
True.
when we see it, it'll be like, okay, we get it. Then when we see him do it, it's like, okay, I get it. I get where the
Kind of
name's
see him
coming
do it.
from.
Yeah. So we get a little bit of training with him, and then we get the battle, where the entire time these kids are just cooking these raiders, just absolutely decimating, because they have set up archers to come in from behind them to push them down a mountain, where at the bottom they have frozen the river to make them slip, to make them easier to hit from the actual town. Once they get through that, there's also spike pits full of swords, and just random traps made by these kids. And we get a couple of scattered different fights. Fubuki is watching above for all of this, being a genius tactician, as he is known to be. We get a fight between Ayako with Ayako and I always forget his name, but the retainer samurai. And the head of the group, Shokan. It doesn't go well for them because he's wearing armor and he really knows how to use it. So they lead him off to a building where Tokiyuki's inside, where they've planned this whole attack out so that he can take Shokan out. They then end up fighting his second in command, the crazy man that likes to scream a lot. And they kick the shit out of him and one of the other guys there. Just playing with them for a while. We then cut to Tokiyuki is having a conversation with Shokan for a bit before they actually start a fight, where he essentially goes, "I'm going to kill you. You are an evil man, and I'm not going to let you get out of this town alive." And Shokan goes, You're feisty. I like you. I'll actually fight you for real. I was gonna just make you a slave, but I'll give you the grace of actually fighting you like a man. They fight a little bit. Tokiyuki dodges out, but he's having some troubles because he can't seem to get a good spot in to actually try and cut him. And then it seems like Shokan makes a slight slip up because he's underestimating Tokiyuki's speed, and Tokiyuki cuts his forearm and gets a first actual blow in on him, and Shokan goes, "Oh, you're fucking dead, kid." And that's basically where we end the episode, as far as I remember.
We do get a little encounter with I have to make sure I get names right. With Fubuki, where he pulls off the right hand man guy of Shokan's group, who has the Buddha marking, who has the face paint and the symbol for the word Buddha on his face, and he's like, "You're actually the strongest person here." I don't know how much of that is him blowing smoke up this guy's ass, or how much of it is like on a real level, this guy has the most skill, because Shokan's whole thing is that he's fully armored, right?
Yes.
They make a big point of these kids haven't fought somebody in armor, they are at a disadvantage, they don't know how to fight him, and he's skilled enough to kind of make up for the areas where you would try to take advantage of him wearing armor. I like this episode. This is the show this week where I'm I don't know what I wanted from it, but it just kind of felt like I wanted more. I don't know exactly, I could not tell you where I wanted this week's episode to be better. I could not tell you anywhere where I thought the episode was particularly bad. Maybe I just don't like the fact that Shokan's covered in ants. That's highly likely. That might just be it. I
probably just don't
hate it.
You don't like photorealistic ant imagery.
I don't think it was that great of a Marvel movie.
I'm so glad the rest of us. I'm so glad the rest of us fucking muffled you out, John. I'm so glad. I heard it, but oh yeah.
It's okay.
I also think it's a little goofy that that Shokan chases them and then gets fucking Scooby-Doo trapdoored into a room.
It's funny.
It's a I don't know how I feel, but that scene in itself is a little wild to me. Now, I will be honest about something. I saw a Twitter clip of next week's episode. There's a scene next week that goes fucking hard.
Yeah,
it's everywhere right now.
Show got good animation.
Yeah, there is also a lot of CG in this episode though. In places that I think are really weird, but I guess large people marching is something that is hard to animate with the budget, with to the fidelity you want it to be animated to. That you CG the group marching. It just feels a little. The show looks so good, and then its CG isn't horrible.
I kind of like the CG where they use it, because they only seem to use it on, at least in this episode, on the bad guys. like on the enemy characters. So it kind of pulls out the something's off here, and they are clearly not good. Like it just really hammers home they're fucking weird and evil.
I do think it's rad that Shao Kahn just goes, yeah, we need to clear this ice river. Kick some of these fuckers down and we don't need walk on them. Just move. Like
They're dead anyways.
Everything he runs through, like in his mind of why he does what he does makes perfect sense from like a tactical standpoint. Like you don't go back up the hill to kill the archers because they just run up the hill and shoot you. Not just we don't care. We don't need all these people are here half as fodder, so let them get shot. If they get shot and they die, they're not important. Keep moving. There is like
There's valor in dodging. Keep moving.
There's a little bit of like a hard sell for me in that like this could all have got set up in time. I think that's also part in my brain where I'm like, I don't know if I believe that Gemba got back to the shrine. They mobilized and got everybody there, set up all of this stuff, and it went off without such a hitch.
So the notable thing is like the enemy group is coming from essentially the capital, and the group from Suwa is coming from just further into the Suwa territory.
It felt like they were closer, the enemy group, because they have the collective amounts of bodies, and they have like the one person who was kind of alive, and it kind of seemed like they were nearish by. To me, it did not. I did not get that they were farther away if they were. But even then, like it's more so of like the amount of time that they gave us, because I want to say it was 2 days.
Fair.
And that feels really quick to get that turnaround. Because the first thing I thought when they made the plan and they went, Gemba, we're sending you back to go tell people what's going on. I went, so he's just not gonna be here, because he has to go back, and then, like, you just leave and like it when we cut back and there are adults archers. I'm like, oh, they got reinforcements in time. Because I wasn't expecting that. Like, I really thought this was going to be more of, like, the kids and them, and it wasn't going to go so well. Cause that's also another level for me. But, like, I still like the episode.
I think this episode was really fun. It definitely is a setup episode, which is why it's lower on my list. I thought it did what the show's been doing, and it's setting up for like its big payoff for this like arc and this villain. So,
yeah, I mean, the show's doing what the show does best, which is just use the kids in creative ways to solve problems with how they would beat like these esteemed military generals, right? Because these aren't just like nobodies; these are people who are legitimate like threats.
Yeah.
In terms of like just the rest of Suo, right? And so I'm okay with it. Again, like you said, the trap thing where it's like, would they really have time to get all this set up and get reinforcements and get everything here set up and ready in time is a little bit hit or miss. But
some benefit that you have to imagine some of the traps they already probably are they're repurposing. Like they already like it is a very optimal strategic location.
Yes.
Yeah. So like they've obviously fought off other groups, like other waves before. They mentioned that, so like I can believe the traps are really like the least of my concern. Like I can kind of believe they get the traps and the archers and all that stuff set up. Like it is kind of more of like that reinforcement line. And it's also just weird to be like, yeah, we're gonna be setting up traps. You know who we don't need? The ninja. That felt really
the fastest
weird.
of them to get back, though. To be fair,
yeah, that is.
Because you're not going to leave.
Trade-off.
You're not going to leave our prince on his own to go back and try to get reinforcements. And plus, they will listen to him because he's under him. But
we also do get a little bit of a scene with checking his name again, or new guy Fubuki.
Fubuki, yeah.
Where they're talking and he's like, "Who are you, by the way?" Because I don't believe your cover story. And he's like, no, it's real. And he's like, okay. But he's like, I believe you're an orphan. I'll give you that. You're impressive.
Member of the orphan club.
Like that is a scene I like. I like the dynamic they set up between the two of them. I still don't know how sold I am on Fubuki. I'm definitely gonna want more of this general surrounding retainer cast. Michael, what are your thoughts?
I mean, generally, this episode's really cool. I like the way they build the strategy. And if you, thinking about it, yeah, the 2 days is a little whack the way they kind of set everything up. But we've also seen Fubuki's been working with this group for a bit at this point.
Yeah.
So a lot of their stuff is stuff they've like been able to do. God, I wish the show didn't do a fucking like massive character assassination on Gemba right after they decided to make him a good character later that episode, and then from then on completely shift him to being the worst character ever. Because he was a character who had the silly side. He played around with people because he was a ninja and he was super skilled, but he had this like super serious side. Like when he's like has the thing is in like episode like 5 or 6 when they're in the room together.
Yeah.
The talking. And then Gemba gets drunk one time, and apparently he's been drunk for 3 weeks since that point. Like, quite literally has been that same drunk character the entire time. It pisses me off every time I see him now. Because they completely gutted everything that made Gemba a cool character. But outside of that, the show's really... When I think about the show, it makes me mad to think of Gemba and how they killed him.
He doesn't get to do anything in this arc so far.
But every time he speaks, he's fucking...
Yes, that too.
It sounds like he's the drunk Gemba, and it pisses me off. It's like he's not the same character anymore. Maybe we'll get more of that later. I don't know, just right now it pisses me off that that's what his thing. But outside of it, I think we get a lot of really cool stuff in this episode. Stuff with Tokiyuki fighting Shokan, was that his name?
Yeah. Shokan.
I think you'll get some cool stuff in there. See, I thought the demon heart thing was the whole like setup. Is they're in a room that could be lit on fire at any given moment. That's like the heart of a demon.
He's got to bail out too.
Yeah.
That's what the main idea was. Is that he could just light the run fire and just escape because he's deaf, and then, he has an out basically if he needs it. But really, in order to help further his training, he really kind of needs to win this 1v1. That's kind of how they set it up. But you do like that they point out as well. So it's like, hey, we really want him to succeed here, but he doesn't have to, right? At least not yet.
I do not blame Shokan for laughing when he enters this room and there's just a child with a sword. That is a really funny thing to watch. You're like, you're a general of an army, you get duped, and you're like, they got me, I'm trapped.
They sent the child after me in a 1v1.
Yeah, you're like, I was duped, I've been trapped. Who is my... Oh, a child. Oh, you fucking idiots.
I love that because... I love it too because Tokiyuki intimidates him enough where he goes, "Fuck, all right."
Yeah, I do really like the him counting currency for how much someone is worth.
How much it's worth,
and at some point he goes, "Oh, I actually am gonna stop looking at you like that because maybe you're actually something different."
A threat.
Yeah, it's a really interesting character trait for him. It's a shame he has ants on him.
Every character's just got to be a little bit extra creepy, man. But
now it's still not pseudo harem, John. Did you know?
What?
That closes the podcast.
What do you mean?
Michael,
I jumped the gun.
Makeine.
We got Makeine, Two Losing Heroines.
We were right.
Tomari time.
Wonderful choice. What a great show.
God. So, this episode, I don't remember exact order. If I'm not going to say it in like an exact order. I don't remember.
Can I raise a question first?
Sure.
Are these uniforms new?
Yes, they're in their winter.
Fucking wild. They look like entirely like this changes my entire perspective of their school. Is these uniforms? They fucking. I don't know. There was something about I'm like, these are really nice uniforms.
Yeah.
So this episode focuses almost entirely, I'm pretty sure, on again. There's some stuff with like Lemon and Yanami, but this is the Komari episode, and it's mainly focused on the school festivals coming up or cultural festival, whatever fucking festival thing.
I do remember that. It's the Suabuki Fest.
Yeah. And the Lit Club members want to do like a thing for it, like a club exhibit for it. And their original proposal was, we're gonna do something, we swear. And then the Suing Council goes, you're fucking stupid. We also have the bit right at the beginning where the person who presents that to them is the zombie member. And they try to keep her out of the room like how you would keep a zombie out of a room.
Yeah.
Like trying to close the door on her. It's a great bit. Good time.
And he locks Komari in the room.
Yeah. But the whole thing is they're like, okay, we gotta. So Nukumizu and Komari essentially kind of sit down because Yanami and Lemon are just kind of honorary members. They're here because they needed numbers, and also this is like a place to get away from people. They're like, we gotta like actually get something set up here that like is literature club focused and something we can do because we want to give it because Komari wants to give a good send off to her two senpai because they're kind of off doing their studying now for whatever tests. Yeah, entrance exams.
And they
so
want
episode
Komari to become president and Nukumizu to be vice president of the club, so they want to let them grow into the role.
Yeah, and Komari's really getting hit with the pressure of trying to make this work and she's trying to do it all herself. She's trying to put all the pressure on herself to make the whole thing and set up everything. Which leads to the three of them going, no, the other three that aren't her going, we're gonna do this as a group. We're gonna come up with some ideas. Yanami and Lemon, they try their hardest to come up with ideas. Yanami says the word food, and they go, fuck it, we're rolling with that. Because their idea ends up being literature and like food that has up with food and sweets. I don't know. It's a whole thing with like food and the literature being connected.
They have little literature. They have little snacks, and then like they're tied to the author in some capacity. And Komari's whole thing is that she's going to write very long explanations about it, and then they're gonna stamp cards for the kids.
Yeah, you get little stamps.
It's actually a really well thought out.
That's a pretty good idea, yes.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that stamp card thing is like a pretty common thing in like Japanese museum exhibits.
Yeah.
Where you go from place to place to fill in like a stamp card. But again, it's still really cool. It gives kids a reason to go from place to place. So like,
and they get snapped. And Yanami's upset because she's like, what do you mean we're not giving everybody food? I want food. And it's like, no, if we give everybody food, we'll run out of food, idiot.
We'll run out of food. Kids get it for free. Adults need to pay, like, a little bit.
A little bit.
A teeny bit.
This episode's great. We get so much good stuff
Yeah.
with Komari.
We get the scene where they're testing the school's water. I'm worried that this is going to be very important, and we're just sidelining this. I'm worried they're gonna do something funky with this at the end of the season, where it's like the school's water has actually been making everybody go crazy.
Everyone's completely different. Nukumizu doesn't have any friends, and
It's all been a hallucination because of the school fountains.
too much chlorine in the water.
But we
It
get
would
it.
explain the student council person.
They would explain why the water looks so fucking incredible.
Yeah, what the fuck was the water in this episode? Jesus.
Yes. But Nukumizu walks up and he's like, now where would Komari be based on the current time of day and the type of water she wants to drink? Aha, I am correct. Bingo, he says. And then we have a nice little scene where he's like, here's the stuff we have to do, and then every student flocks at the bell to go to their classes, and he's like, we'll just wait. And then he hits her with the, I've calculated the exact amount of time we will take from get to this fountain in particular to our classrooms. We will be fine, and we will get there exactly a minute safe from the bell. And she goes, my classroom's actually farther. He goes, well, just walk faster, loser. There's also a post-credit scene this episode. Did you know that?
Yes.
I was gonna say, there's arguably maybe going to be an important post-credit scene. Michael, did you see the post-credit scene?
I did. Do I remember what happened in it?
He goes to the student council office, to hand in the paperwork, and one of the girls is there, and one of the girls is the one girl's there, and he goes and he looks at her name tag, and she goes, "Are you looking at my chest?" And he goes, "No, I'm not."
That's where your name tag is, dumbass.
How do you say your fucking name? And she says her name, and then the new head of student council, the
chairwoman.
Yeah, the chairwoman of student council comes in and gets really close to him, and implies that things are gonna change around here.
It's gonna be a little different around here. As her personal entourage, it's like doing stuff on the side.
She's insane. I love her so much already. I've had her for like 3 seconds.
This is a really good episode for Nukumizu and Komari. Just like general broad character traits about them getting more fleshed out, even this late in the show. It's really nice. We do get the bit where sorry, Mason.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I was gonna say we get the bit where Yanami pulls him onto the staircase and it's like, hey, we gotta talk. So my ex, and he goes, not your ex, my ex and his girl, they were doing stuff for their festival, and it's like a costume thing, and she got ready to strip straight in the classroom with him right there, and someone went, no, you can't do that, he's gotta go, and he goes, sorry, I'm so used to it, and that drove Yanami fucking bonkers. That I got a kick out of that bit.
That was really funny. I think for me, because I rated this number one this week, I believe. For me, it was Komari has been my least favorite of the three so far.
That's crazy. I love it.
And this episode made her like top for me. She's wonderful. It's just a really good episode because it gave us more of like her.
Sorry, I just remember the part of this episode where they're walking through the town, and Komari's like, so you and Anna are dating, right? And he goes, no. You see that poster of a sea otter? See how sea otters are really cute and they eat a lot of food? And he goes, that's how I feel about her. And Komari goes, what? That bit is so fucking good because the moment they point to that poster, I go, holy shit, she's a sea otter. It was crystal clear. That poster is such a good representation of her. That shit had me dying.
I was like, absolutely not. I would sooner kill myself than date this woman.
As he's in immense denial.
It's just like, no, we're not dating. She already rejected me. No, I didn't ask. She just rejected me anyways.
And then we get another great moment where they're in the one. Komari goes, "Lemon's flying," and then she just climbs through the window. What did that mean?
Komari goes, "It smells like lemon."
Yeah,
Lemon's on the way.
And then Lemon enters the room and just ruffles her hair like they're gay.
Great. This episode is wonderful.
I love this season. This is a good season.
This is a surprisingly really good season.
Also, just the best animated water you've never known you needed.
What the fuck? Like, this is like El Dorado levels of water. Like, what the fuck?
It's so fucking nice. I do have to go back and listen to this ED because I did not have time to do that today. But I wanna actually check out the ED because I know it is a Komari. It is a Komari based
really
ED,
good.
so I want to see it. Any other thoughts? Show's good. Show's really good. I
Show's
love
just
this
been
show.
solid the whole way through, man.
Yeah.
Characters are just the definition of like character-driven narratives are so fun.
Yeah.
Because when you like all the characters, it just makes the show infinitely more enjoyable.
And also, this show's just like unhinged. Oh, I guess the nurse. Did we mention the nurse becomes the club advisor?
Yeah, I forget. Yeah, that's also things like they need a club advisor.
It's definitely not problematic for the club.
Yeah, they do the whole thing. They're like, yeah, we need a club advisor. They go to their teacher, and the teacher goes, already the advisor for like the ping pong club. I think it was.
First,
She goes, yeah, but I got someone for you. And then the nurses, and they go, why the fuck are you? She goes, I'm your new advisor. And they go, okay.
And Nukamisa's the only one who's like, this might be bad. Also, really fun gag they do is, it's Nukamizu and Lemon who go, to talk to their teacher about it, and they go to talk to her, and she goes, a boy and a girl coming to me. No, I don't want any part of this. And they go, that's not why we're here. And she go, and they go, so we have a problem. And she goes, a boy and a girl have a problem. You should go to the nurse. She knows how to solve this for you. Lay in the bed, look at the ceiling.
Everybody's favorite teacher that's like technically a teacher, but you forget about it because she's just one of the goons.
Who also forgets that you are a student.
They straight up refer to her as Chan, like younger.
As an equal.
She's a fucking Persona teacher. But you can't tell me otherwise. Fucking degenerate gremlin.
Well, she hasn't broke Nukamizu yet, so not quite.
Isn't that only in 5 where that happens? Maybe it
Yeah, but there's not.
But that's the best part.
It happens in 3 too. It happens in Persona 3.
Doesn't it also happen in 4?
I thought in 3 she realizes before she does anything stupid.
Yes.
Yes.
But
it still happens.
And I thought 4 also. I thought 4 also does it.
4 also does it. 4 it's a nurse. You fool around with a nurse.
But I also thought the teacher has a social link in.
But you guys fool around with a nurse all the time. Hello.
I thought they're. Maybe there's not. Maybe 4 does not do it. Let's find out real quick.
Thanks, Michael.
I'm looking it up right now.
Thanks, Michael.
You're welcome.
Appreciate.
Hello,
They're too
nurse.
busy doing stuff to the masterpiece.
So, let's get you.
The master of the bad jokes is here.
You know, maybe there's not, because there might not actually be a female teacher in 4 that fills that role. Because Kashigawa,
Anyways,
she's kind
guys,
of the worst.
Pseudo Harem's really good.
Yeah, we're gonna get to it. Don't worry, John.
Right? It's also good. This
I'm
time I'm
solid.
right on the timing too.
Yo, absolutely crazy thing Pseudo Harem does. It reopens the episode on the confession scene we didn't get to not give us it again, and I think
That's crazy.
that's
that it does
a
that.
wild thing to do.
Wild that it chooses to cockblock us not once
For
but twice.
for what it's worth, the lead up to this then is that we are going to start the episode in Eiji's house with Rin there. Where Rin is, this episode solidified, Rin's fucking insane. She is an unhinged person. And that's great for her.
She actually has schizophrenia.
So she, honestly, maybe. So they're in his house, and Eiji's like, so she's gonna come visit us a couple times over the summer, you know, nothing, no big deal. We're not putting any labels on either of us at all yet. And then goes, and his mom makes a comment of like, oh, you're getting so close to leaving the nest, and then goes, well, I could just move into the nest. And she goes, why did I say that? I didn't mean it like that, I promise.
Become the nest.
And then she goes, I could be like a sister or a daughter. And Eiji looks at her and goes, what the fuck are you saying? And she goes, well, I've had practice, you know, pretending to be your harem. And his mom, the face his mom makes, just fucking throws it all out there. Girls' nerves are shot. They spend some time together. We see that he's packing shit up that he doesn't need. And she's like, oh, this is a notebook. You fucking doodle in this notebook? It's not a notebook to doodle in. Hey, that's the thing from the one date we went on. And he goes, yep, no more of that. That's going away. We're not going to talk about that anymore. It's a really well-drawn replication of it, actually. And then she's like, are you getting ready your school uniform? He's like, yeah, I'm not in school anymore. I'm an adult. And she goes, but what if you still wore it? Because, like, and the implication here is clearly, like, we never actually got to go on a date. Like, we had a date, but we are now actually a couple, seems to be the implication here. Like, it would be nice if we both wore our school uniforms for a date. It is a little weird of a thing to do. There's a part of me who's like, he is no longer a school student. He should probably not be wearing his school uniform on a date with you. But, they didn't go out on a date. They go shopping together. Is this?
She gets him an outfit.
Yeah. First they get this cute little bear thing. They do some bits with that. She helps him get clothing because he is worried that he is gonna buy the shittiest graphic tees known to man if he shops for himself. Which, as we know, incredibly based graphic tee it tastes from this man. Wow.
Don't.
They just love showing it. She goes and buys him the most fucking college core outfit possible, and he actually almost looks like an entirely different character. It's kind of rad. And this is gonna come back later in the episode, so we'll talk about that in a bit. But they go to a cat cafe. This part of the episode is wonderful. They go to a cat cafe, and Eiji gets bombarded by 70 cats. Just so many cats bombard him. Before they do this, they also do meet up for the date. He shows up early, like fucking 40 minutes early, and she messaged him, is like, hey, you wanna meet up earlier? And he goes, nope, just woke up. And she goes, you're a liar, because I'm right here. And that seems cute. Yeah, so they go to a cat cafe. Eiji gets sworn by every single cat known to man, except for the one cat that goes to Rin, to which Rin delivers the most base line of all time, which she goes, I'm a one-cat girl, and then starts meowing back and forth with the cat in the middle of the cat cafe. Again, might be something a little wrong with her, but we love her nonetheless. And then Eiji goes, and then we have what I actually think is a really funny scene, where Eiji goes, oh yeah, you want to be alone with that cat? No good. And he slowly steps his way over to ominous music playing to then bring the entire horde of cats to her. We then cut to, again, this stuff might be all over the place a little bit. Vin's at school with her friend, and she's like, I feel lonely, I'm depressed, my boyfriend's not here, and she's like, would you grow up? And she's like, that's the problem. I want to be a grown-up. And she's like, I wonder if AG is making friends. She's like, there you go. Now you sound like a grown-up. And she goes, I wonder if he has good clothes to wear. And her friend goes, now you sound like his mom. You can stop. We get a really interesting mid-card where it shows stuff from the manga, where it shows her interacting with underclassmen, which I really wish we got in this episode. And then the episode, we get to the end of the episode, and AG's like, yo, outfit worked. I had a girl confess to me. I turned her down, and I don't know how I feel about that, because she started crying. And Rin goes, I don't know how to feel about that information either. And he goes, then I guess we're doing okay.
It seems like a quick thing. He's up for college for like a week, and is just already just laying it on the table. It's honestly,
yeah. And then
she moved fast at uni.
And then she has the moment where she's like, "Did I make him too popular? Did I give him too good of clothes? Does
he have too much Riz now?
Did I create a monster, a Riz monster?
The Rizzler.
The Rizzler? God damn it!
You and I have been in calls way too much with Alec recently, is what that tells me.
No, Mason, the problem is we share the same brain cell and we haven't never stopped.
True. I do.
I think this episode's really cute. I don't have too much to say about it. It's Pseudo Harem, you know? I feel in a very similar way that I do about Shoshimin. This show's good. I don't think it holds up to what else we have. That's just how it is to me. But I think it's cute. I'm, still interested to see what else they decide to do, because I don't know why they don't just give us the date confession, like the confession that they're dating, because they so clearly are now.
Because this way we can have more tension for the plot, Sean. As the romance expert, I know how this works.
Okay.
Listen, they're just trying to mess with us just to keep us interested. To be like, we don't know what she said. Maybe they didn't fully confess. We'll never know.
True.
I mean, I think it'd be hilarious if we eventually get that what she says here is some absolute fucking nonsense.
Just like fireworks could interrupted the confession, we just don't know about it. But I kind of agree with you, Sean, where it's like the show's good, but it's just not quite as good as some of the other shows we have. And that's what it's like its biggest weakness is here.
I mean, I'll be honest, I am surprised it's got this far.
Yep.
It definitely, I think, had an improvement, which has something to do with it. Shows that tend to have at least some visible improvement by week, tend to do okay, because you actively see them getting better.
Who was the last person that just submitted?
Probably me, based on the fact that it's your thing. But I don't know.
Could be
It
anybody.
was you.
Well,
was it? I
Sticking.
can't finish the bit. Yeah.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have no slays on Senpai, Alya, Elusive, and Makeine. We have one slay on Wistoria, and baby, get the wheel. We got full slays on Pseudo Harem and
Holy
Shoshimin.
shit, you got four and four.
Whoa! I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I literally
This is
named
just
myself time
Fucking
for a
murdered
twist.
everything, huh?
Time for a shocking twist.
Dun
I
dun
just-
dun.
I
Can
just did it for Pseudo Harem.
Can
and,
Pseudo Harem
Shoshimin.
do it again?
Really? Michael,
What?
Yo.
the Wistoria slander.
I had Ollie Slay last week.
So again,
This
ladies
isn't a
and
new
gentlemen,
thing.
if you're new here, I should go to the right. Yeah, if you're new here, the show this
Welcome.
lands on
Thanks for
is
coming by.
gone.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming by, people. We had some people tune in.
being new
Apologies
here.
if you
Appreciate
left.
you.
Apologies if you left before I actually got to respond to your question in chat. You unfortunately hit me in the middle of Wistoria, I think, so I was talking and not looking at chat. That's my bad. It lives another week,
Yeah.
baby.
I'm not surprised.
It is
I'm
the-
fine with either of these going.
It's the wheel demon. Now you just get to
Look.
watch the last two episodes of Shoshimin together.
Yeah,
The
that
wheel gives
was
the
the
wheel
entire
gives
reason
away.
why I slayed it, was just so I can watch them. But
And plus, we avoid the awkwardness of having a show that's already done for like 2 weeks
Yeah.
before finals.
that's the thing too, is like, at the end of the day, I'm fine with the show going just because it's going to be done in 2 episodes, and we're just going to be sitting here for a week with nothing to do.
Like, so how about that last episode we didn't get to see this week, guys?
Yeah. So,
Thank you, Discord, for finally getting rid of the stream for me. Took a little bit. But yeah.
That was me.
No, like, I tried to exit out of it, and it would not drop it on my end.
Oh, cool.
So you literally had to drop the stream itself fully for it to move off my screen.
Very cool.
Do you guys want to talk a little bit about what you've been up to? I really have to use the bathroom. So either I'm ending stream right now on a very hard note, or are you guys gonna talk for a bit before I get back? That's up to you guys.
Like, I don't want the smoke.
I'll fry there.
Go ahead. You guys talk for a little bit. Talk about what you've been up to.
Funny things you could talk about.
Yeah.
It's so cool, by the way, that YouTube doesn't show me the chat anymore. It just has
Like,
it.
Streams, it takes it like a really long time to load the chat for some reason.
Very cool.
Like, you could be like, I've like watched streams for 2 whole minutes before it finally goes, and here's the chat. I'm like, oh, sick, awesome.
It's really helpful when I'm a moderator for this chat and I can't moderate the chat because I can't see it. Thanks, YouTube.
Yeah, it's so awesome and cool of them.
Very well done.
I guess I can start some of the stuff I've done.
Holy
Isn't a whole lot, but like, so this is a game Mason mentioned. I think you mentioned it a while ago. I think you mentioned Deadlock forever ago.
Yeah.
Like when it like first like.
When it
But yeah.
first dropped.
But yeah, I got access to Deadlock this past week. For third-person shooter MOBA by Valve, because Valve's insane, and does silly things. But yeah, game's fun. I think there's certainly still some balance issue. I think it'd be neat if we got like smaller. I assume with like a full release, we're going to get something other than the 6v6 giant fucking map mode.
Yeah.
Because this game certainly has a problem where this map's really big and it's really easy to push in a lane really fast, and then all of a sudden you have to watch 4 lanes, and then you just lose the game because you can't watch all 4 of them at a time, and then it becomes awkward base races.
It's also really easy to get very confused on where in the fuck in the map you are, because the mini-map does not make any sense half the time.
Yeah, the minimap like tries to portray the map, but then there's like a lot of really weird sprawling underground. There's a whole teleporter system I've literally never used yet.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, there's like sections where you walk into an area, you stand still for like 3 seconds, and you get teleported to another portion of the map.
Fuck.
There's like an entire underground thing that you can. There's like a sewer system you can take that leads you to mid boss that I took by accident today.
Yeah, I did find I did fight the mid boss the last time I played it. I didn't know that existed until that game.
Yeah, the thing is that mid boss is like really awkward to go, because if you go from mid boss, that means there's 6 people in the enemy team pushing into a base, and towers have like 4 total health.
Mm-hmm.
Like you fucking destroy towers. It's insane how quickly you can destroy objectives in this game. But like I think conceptually it's really neat. I think there's a lot they can still do with it. I think the character designs are fucking rad. A lot of these characters are like really fucking cool. But my current main's Paradox, because I saw her and I was like, yeah, that character looks fucking awesome.
I play
fucking person with time bullshit.
What we talking
I
about?
forget what his name is, but he's
I know you had been playing.
detective.
As you've been playing Abrams, the small portion
Abrams.
that I watched.
Yeah, I played Abrams.
He's like undead blue guy with a shotgun who
Oh, you're talking
shoulder
about
charges people.
You're talking about
He's the
Deadlock?
undead detective. Yeah.
Yeah,
If you said
he
that, John,
certainly
thank
is-
you.
that's what I did say.
I
but
didn't
it's
hear
okay.
it, but I appreciate you chiming in
Audio's
for me.
weird. I'm trying to balance between like you guys hearing me and not hearing Amber.
Fair. He is. I like Abrams because he is certified bruiser.
Yeah.
Capital B bruiser.
One of my issues I have with might be just because I play a character who really wants to play awkwardly from range. Is that some of the bruisers feel really fucking broken. They get too much health, and can just walk at you and do your entire health bar in like 2 seconds.
As someone who knows something about broken bruisers playing League of Legends.
Yeah. So that's the funny thing about Abrams is Abrams, he has a revolver that you shouldn't be using. You should just be running up at people and meleeing, because his whole kit is based around melee, like hitting someone and stealing life. So you just never fucking die. He's Warwick, yeah. He's basically Warwick, but you can control yourself better.
Yeah. Like there are some real like cool like there's some the fuck's his name? The guy's like a soldier. He's supposed to be like a cop is his thing. And one of his abilities is that he places a fucking jail cell on top of you. And if you don't leave a certain radius within like a second and a half, you get CC'd in that spot. But you can dodge it by moving away, but he forces you to use your dashes. So it's like a really neat way you have to fight against him.
Sounds
It's
kind of
like,
like
he's really fucking cool.
It's
Aurora,
like the baby.
almost.
Yeah. It's
And then there's Mo
almost
and Krill, who has
baby
Warwick ult, but like it lasts for 7 seconds, not 2.
That's not
Yeah.
balanced.
No.
Correct.
Mo and
Mo and
Krill's
Krill's fucking broken. I hate Mo and Krill. And then they have Mei from Overwatch, but his name is Kelvin.
I get it,
That's
'cause
my
it's cold.
favorite isekai protagonist.
His whole like thing is that when he has like a freeze gun, but he can like make platforms and like newer areas to run around the map on. It's really neat.
Yes, I
But
love
it
that
fucking
one
pisses me
character
off.
from what was that platform fighter called? Rivals of Aether.
I'm a Crag where he just makes his own
yeah.
floors.
Christ.
But yeah, Deadlock's quite a game. Valve's kind of cooking on this one.
I need to play it more.
I was right.
You're right.
Kelvin's the name of the main character from Black Summoner.
God,
I forgot.
another thing I started doing, this was like 2 days ago, I think, maybe. I made a purchase on my Nintendo Switch.
Oh.
I now own Pokemon Scarlet.
Let's go.
Oh, you
I
did?
own
And like,
Scarlet and Violet.
no, I didn't own the new games
Oh.
yet.
I've owned them for a year and I haven't played it.
I'm now like
yeah, I
4-ish
haven't played it much
hours.
either. Looks at 600 hours into the game.
Ooh, that's like about the same amount of time I put in Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Yeah, but Sean, that's just in Scarlet or in
Fair-
Violet. I have
fair
Scarlet too.
But yeah, I'm a few hours. I don't know how many hours. I'm not gonna count or go look at it. But I am done with the first Titan, the first gym. I got my shit rocked by the first Team Star base because I am about 10 levels under leveled.
sounds
I
about
went
right.
into that with a single level 20. Their first mon's level 27. And this is a this is a fire type thing, and that level 20 was my starter, which is Sprigatito.
Based.
Yeah, you're not the most. Those places are definitely like the only like difficulty spikes, and it's because of the mini boss part of it.
But yeah, her Torkoal kind of. I also don't even know if it's the first one, because they don't give you like an actual order for them. Because I imagine there is a level order for all
There
like,
is
the
a
gyms
level
and
order
Team Star
specifically, yes, that people have
And
figured out. But unless you want it, good luck.
I also imagine because the game sets up if you talk to the person who runs the Pokemon centers,
I'll give
they
you an
can
idea where
give
to
you
go
the
next.
next place to go, generally in like a good route through the game.
I think that
um,
route's usually correct, but it could be wrong too.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been listening to them. I've just been kind of walking around. I've been vibing.
So fast.
I didn't have like a good. When I loaded up, I was like, okay, what's my naming scheme gonna be? And I go to Fantasy Name Generator like I always do, and I go, no, I can't. Like none of these are gonna work. Then I go, fuck it, same thing as my Nuzlocke, anime manga characters, 10 out of 10 names. Currently my team, my starter doesn't follow this rule. We have Jev the Sprigatito, because Jev is a thing I named a Minecraft cat one time, and that's just kind of the thing I name all my first pets in a game now.
Fair enough.
Jev's 10 out of 10. We have Luck the Palmo.
Good.
We have Magna the
Oh, you
Charcadet.
just went full in on it.
There were a few. Those like the first ones I immediately thought of.
I wonder why.
We have Suika the Azumarill. Because as Azumarill, it was just his baby. Suika's a character from Dr. Stone.
Yes.
I was the one with the watermelon on her head.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Crazy naming scheme. The fuck else is on the team right now? The other two haven't done much. Is the problem. Okay. This one also doesn't follow. We have Zubat the Wooper. This is Zubat spelled with an X, like my one friend's gamer tag.
Fair enough.
And I straight up couldn't tell you what the sixth one on my team is right now.
That's wonderful.
They aren't really doing anything. But yeah, the game's really fun.
You need to get a Knackley because he's adorable.
I do have an Ackley. I did obtain one.
Isn't he like the cutest Pokemon ever?
He is a cute little guy. I'm a big
He's
fan.
a little
Ackley's
guy.
good
He's a little rock dude. I love the name scheme where it's just like salt, bigger salt.
Look, I'll be real. I think peak Pokemon design from the newest gen is Tatsugiri. I think that thing's fucking adorable.
Dude, I
Tatsugire's
love
great. I
Tenzo's
fucking love
Tatsugiri, and as a
Tatsugiri.
concept, as someone who plays competitive, that Pokemon can go die in the ditch from where it was created.
Actually-
That's an absolutely abhorrent design of Pokemon for competitive balance, and it is fucking insano broken.
I actually really dig a
in low
lot of the
power
designs
formats.
in Violet and Scarlet. I think they're all. I think a lot of them are really good.
Really good design.
I think even like a lot of the paradox mounts are actually really cool too. Namely,
Yeah.
obviously obviously we're gonna mention that the past designs are cooler than the future designs.
Yeah.
That's the reason I got
Yeah.
Scarlet.
Every
I like the
single
past
one
design so much
except
more.
everyone except for fucking Iron Valiant are cooler.
Yeah.
Every single one. It's not even close. That's the only downside of Violet. And
I've
also they're just better. Also all the past ones are just better.
I
Great
like the
Tusk,
way-
better than Iron Treads. Fluttermane, one of those broke Pokemon ever made. Like Roaring fucking Moon, also great. Iron Moth, technically more competitively viable, but Slitherwing is adorable and deserves love.
I like Iron Bundle. I think
Iron Bundle's
is
silly.
a cute
I like
design.
Iron Bundle.
Like Iron Bundle and Iron Hand are both fucking crazy.
Iron Bundle is referred to as Iron Bungle until he proves otherwise by hitting his goddamn fucking Icy Winds next time I have to use him. Hate that fucking thing. I lost 2 very important matches because of that Pokemon. One was in a cup, which doesn't really matter as much. One was at a fucking regional at 3-1. That would have got me to 4-1, but because he missed an Icy Wind on a switching in Landorus, and then my other Pokemon missed a Heat Wave on the enemy Rillaboom, the match DC'd, and because I didn't take those 2 KOs, I wasn't far enough ahead to get the auto win, and then I lost the rematch, and then lost the set because of it.
Oh my god.
Michael, what else? I think in the time since last podcast, you finished Black Clover.
No, I could have sworn I already finished Black Clover,
Is it over?
but maybe not.
No,
Not over.
No, I'm caught up.
Caught.
I was gonna say, is it
Caught up.
done?
no, it's in its
It's
final arc.
close.
It's one of those things where if it was currently still running in a Shonen Jump, it would be done.
Yeah.
But at around chapter 367, we're at like 373 right now. This was like 6-7 chapters ago. They're like, yeah, we're switching to running in a different magazine. I cannot keep up with weekly releases.
Yeah.
So now it's a magazine that releases like it gets like
Whenever
2
the fuck he
chapters
wants to.
four times a year.
Yeah.
Or something. It's in Jump Giga now is the magazine.
But it
it's in,
is- it is-
which they explain in that chapter.
Yeah, it is close to being done though, for sure. It's there for once. There is no way they write anything else after this arc. Like they are out of villains.
Hopefully. But yeah, we were also told this is final arc. They
Yeah.
say like at the beginning of like this is the final arc we're now
The
going
last time,
into.
the final time for sure.
It also legitimately, for context of what is going on in Black Clover, really does feel like the final arc. With like the themes they are going with, they are really trying to hit everything you might have questions about in this last arc and kind of close it out. I could not tell you how many more chapters we have though, because we have a lot of fights that are set up, and I think we've resolved 2 of them.
Yeah, I imagine we finish definitely before chapter 400 probably.
No, I don't
But-
think it goes that long. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it
We-
depends.
hey,
Who knows
knows?
how long stuff's gonna go for? The arc before this one felt like it took forever to end. You felt like you hit the end of that arc like 3 times. Crazy.
Yeah. But and after doing that, I kind of took a step back from just blitzing manga for a bit. You know, it's a thing you kind of got to do sometimes.
What do you mean? I just went and read all of MASH.
Yeah, I know.
I have a problem.
Speaking of manga reading, has anyone else caught up with Otokonoko?
Not yet. I plan
I still
to.
need to.
I thought you were getting close, Mason.
I caught up a while ago and then haven't read since. So I'm like probably like 10 or 12 chapters behind.
That's another manga going into its final arc.
Oh,
Holy
really?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's at the end game.
I heard it was
like,
going into yeah.
I still need to finish.
Like we don't have a
Cognitive.
chapter count yet, like we do with JJK, which by the way, 3 chapters left after tomorrow or after this weekend.
Yep.
Um,
Well, it's this one and
But,
then 2 more.
yeah, 3 chapters left total, including this weekend. But
Yeah.
Otokonoko is like probably like less than 15 chapters away from done. I feel like it's like it feels like it's in the end game.
I mean, to be
What
fair,
chapter
what
is
I'm-
Oshinoko at?
160 on the dot.
Okay, I'm at 150.
Okay.
So-
That's when I stopped reading.
It's
I
going
don't
down.
remember.
People are yelling timber, like it's crazy.
You better move.
But
Better dance.
Dance.
I mean, for that show, fair enough. But I'm just saying, Akane's still the GOAT. Aqua is still a sociopath, and we love him. And yeah, that manga's great. You should read Oshinoko. I will never stop plugging it because it's peak. But outside of that, I have embarked on a terrible quest because I am procrastinating on making a team for the next regional I go to, which will be in next month already. Because regional is starting back up for Pokemon. First one starts today, technically, in Baltimore, Maryland. Next one is going to be in that I will be going to is in Louisville, Kentucky, because it's by Austin, who's a friend of the podcast. But it's by his house, and so we're going down there with some friends, and a lot of us are going and make it like at least one of like the few regionals I'm going to go to this year. If qualifying wasn't as fucking miserably terrible that they made it to be this season, I would probably be pushing for World's Invite. But because it is, I'm just going to be playing casually and having fun and running cool teams, I think, and just trying to do the best I can. Trying to hit my own personal goals, like making a day 2, which I think is a harder goal than people will make it out to be, depending on who you ask. But yeah, procrastinating making that team as much as possible, and by doing that, I am instead playing through Pokemon Legends Arceus, not fully again, but trying to get the full Pokedex done, because that way you can get the shiny charm when you do like level 10 of each like Pokemon's like basically like exploration log. To put in perspective how long that is, there's 240 Pokemon, and some things range from catch a certain amount of Pokemon to use this move a certain amount of times to sometimes you just have to catch them and there's no moves to use, or sometimes like the moves aren't as valuable, so it takes just super fucking long. However, I'm getting close to it. I'll probably be done by the next day or two, and tomorrow's gonna be fun because we're basically doing a deep clean of the entire house and getting a bunch of shit done because we're having a bunch of friends over for a little housewarming, because we've been in our house for about 2 months now, and decided, hey, we should probably have that housewarming party we talked about when we moved in. And so we're doing that. That's gonna be fun. I invited Mason, but he lives on the other side of the state 'cause he's a square.
If you told me ahead of time, I would have tried to took off. Would have came visit.
Yeah.
Except you didn't know, so it's understandable.
Yeah, that's why. That's why. Yeah. Listen, I'm just saying, like, if I was going to Baltimore for this regional, I probably would have like hit you guys up and been like, hey, you guys are relatively close to that area in the Northeast. Within like 10 hours, we can figure something out. But like I said, we'll see. But yeah, it's been busy. And as you can see, my buddy Austin went to Hawaii, and I have cool stuff now.
Oh, shit,
so
that
now my
actually-
stuffies have fun hats on them.
You know what's crazy? You're not wrong. Legitimately, you are actually closer to... Baltimore is actually closer to me than some parts of Pennsylvania. So you're not wrong. God, I hate Pennsylvania sometimes. That's crazy.
You mean some parts of Michigan? Because you're in Pennsylvania?
No, I mean Baltimore is closer to where I am in Pennsylvania than some
Than
parts
other
of
places in
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Oh, no, yeah, no. I've been there with
Time-wise to
Michigan.
get there.
Toledo, Ohio is closer than like the west side of Michigan sometimes,
Yeah, well,
depending on where you are.
Toledo is from you like 2 hours, and from you to me it's like 2.5.
Yeah,
or take, yeah.
Pittsburgh is farther from me than Baltimore is.
That's wild. Pennsylvania is a fucking gigantic state.
Yeah.
Your left to right.
I mean,
Pennsylvania
Michigan's
is like
gigantic
12
if you go from
12
north to
years
south
long.
versus east to west. You know?
You got anything else going on, John?
I think that's kind of it.
Mason?
Also, I'm boosting my girlfriend's account to gold, hopefully before the end of the season, so we can get a funny skin. That's literally the only reason.
Mason, what do you?
I'm not boosting it because that's illegal, but like I'm boosting it. So.
Yeah, no, what? No.
You wouldn't go.
I'm just saying, Amber has a fucking amazing Garen gameplay. You guys should see it. Her Karthus jungle today, like 17-1. It was crazy, just hitting every Skittle. It was just actually insane. She even got called a Smurf, which is technically not accurate. She's not smurfing. She's in the correct elo.
John, how are you? Mason, what are you up to? Whoopsie.
So it's okay. So I played Yu-Gi-Oh tonight. That was fun. I played Edison
Base
at a
format.
local. It's
Did
a
you
very
win?
base format.
Can I be
I
honest with
did.
you?
Go ahead.
That's the one format I don't know why it's called that.
So
Called
the
Edison?
reason why it's called Edison is
Wait, Shaw,
because-
how do I know why it's called that, but you don't? That's crazy.
I know like every
So-
other format's reason because most of them are named after important things in the
Yeah.
format. I assume it's based off a
Yeah.
player.
No, so
No,
it's
it's on the
based off the
location.
place. So it's
Oh.
because it was one weekend.
That makes
There
sense.
was a YCS in Edison, New Jersey, and
Well, that's
that
why
was
you
where
know
this
it,
format.
asshole.
No, I know it because there's an entire video where Simo explains this format's a rare in.
Yeah.
And he explains it as that's the reason. He goes, it's called Edison because they played it. The last time it was played was the exact time was at this one tournament.
It was literally a single weekend, and it was arguably one of the best formats he has ever had.
Let's do let's do a fun little thing. Michael, do you know why it's called goats?
Goat format?
Isn't it because there was like a card that was really important?
Yes. Do you know what the card is?
Correct.
No, because Pac-Man was its own thing, and that's I think
Pac-Man's
also in
not
a
a
different
format.
card game.
Yes.
Pac-Man
No,
is
that
not a
is- that
format,
is
but
Yu-Gi-Oh,
it's
but not a
in
format.
Go.
Okay.
It is in Go. So Go is named Go because after the fact that Scapegoat was like one of the most prominent cards in the format.
Scapegoat, Jinzo.
Yeah.
Profit.
And then
I know Jinzo.
Reaper is named after
There
Spirit
was something.
Reaper
There was a,
Spirit.
yeah, it was a
because
Reaper
Spirit
role.
Reaper fucking dominates that format. It's an
Fun
insane
fact.
card. It also
fun fact.
dominates Edison.
Yeah. So today,
And Go.
one of the games that I did win. So I went 1-2. Round one, I went 0-2 because it turns out I didn't understand the fundamental rules of the game. Specifically, that no one decided to tell me that in Edison, you're using like Master Rule 2 or something, and first player draws.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know.
Go ahead. Sorry. I was gonna say you don't stop drawing. I think until like close to Zexal, like card
Yeah,
releases. It's like it
it's
actually
wild.
might be the Pendulum release that does it.
I think it is.
I should know the set off the top of my head, but there is like a key set where it's like when this set. I think it's Master Rule 4.
It's Master Rule 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it comes out and it's like you no longer draw going first because that's fucking insane with the way
Yes.
Yu-Gi-Oh is.
Yeah, no, that is just a stupidly high amount of like advantage for going first. But I certainly did win a game today by going. I'm going to flip Royal Decree, which goes all. It's a trap card that is continuous trap that negates all other traps on the field. When my opponent had 5 set and all of his zones were traps, and he had no cards in hand, and I proceeded to go Spirit Reaper. I'm going to attack you forever now. You do not have a card. If you don't play it, if you draw just anything that is a spell or a trap, you're never playing this game again.
Is why
That
you
was fun.
is why you notoriously do not block all your zones in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yes.
Unless you have very good reason to do it. Which in those formats usually you don't.
No, God no. Aside from that, I've also been reading Black Clover. I certainly one day read like 50 chapters in the span of about 3 hours. That manga's really good.
Oh,
Like
I was gonna say, Michael, Mason caught something that you and I both missed on our first read that took us longer to catch.
Oh.
Because Mason's met
caught-
all 3 members of the Eye of the Midnight Sun, and he caught one of their names.
I caught the name of the token female character in the Eye of the Midnight Sun.
And he immediately went, "Isn't that?" And I went, "Yeah,
Certainly.
Michael." I went, "Yeah, Michael and I took until they talk about that to make that realization." Because Michael and I just both forgot that character.
Fair. It certainly is one of those things where I definitely would not have caught it if I weren't binge reading that manga. Like if I hadn't read 50 chapters in the span of 3 hours, I would not have caught it. But because of the fact that it was such a short window between, that's why. Aside from that, I'm pretty sure I beat Neon White before last podcast.
I think so.
I think you did, yeah, 'cause you were talking about
Yeah,
Oh, we got a massive ranked win in Fortnite with the boys.
yeah.
We did.
it. Not
we
me,
did.
though, because I'm not invited to play Fortnite.
You are always invited. You don't have
Could
the game
play.
installed.
You don't know
I-
that.
A buddy of
I
mine,
know that.
a buddy of mine needed to win one ranked game for a quest. And we tried it with his friend group, and it went horrible. And I went, "Hey, Mason's not ranked. Michael and I are in silver. You're only in gold because you have climbed up by losing games. Would you like to give it a go? Because with Mason not being ranked, we have a better chance of not getting insane lobbies." We lost a couple of games. I told him to stick it out. We stuck it out, and we got what was actually a really incredible win. It was a really
sick
good game.
It was like a really cool game of Fortnite.
It was also
honestly.
like one of the best, like, us as a team game that we had. Like, we legitimately worked really well as a team in that game. I died.
Mhm.
That's... And then they brought
Oh,
me
yeah,
back,
you up.
but
I'm
I mean,
amazed I didn't.
I did not claim to be good at Fortnite.
That toss over the railing saved my ass.
They basically got fucking hefted across the map.
It was really funny. Aside from that, so
Oh no.
this happened today. It was when I got home from playing. My roommate Cody was watching Power Rangers, and he just had it on. And it was not Mighty Morphin. It was
Oh.
Zeo, which is the season directly following Mighty Morphin. I'll be real. I didn't want to like Power Rangers because it's so campy and cheesy. Holy fuck, that show just pulls you in. Like,
Yeah.
It's so charming how very clearly overacted it is,
Yeah.
how cheesy it is. It's just fun.
That
It's right in
genre's
the it just hits right in the
dangerous.
childhood, man.
Sentai's dangerous, dude.
It's fun because they're also, these characters are the most unhinged fucking characters ever. They're insane, and it's wild what they were able to get away with in the 90s and early 2000s. Like, for example, there's a bit, and I don't know how this was marketed to children. This is like the third episode of this season, and the whole thing is they're fighting a machine race that is trying to take over the Earth, and they're fighting their goons, and they beat the fuck out of them. And the goons, like, every time they lose, just get pulled through a time portal thing to get them out. And as they're about to go jump through the portal, they all turn in unison and flip them off, and then jump through the portal,
Based.
which is insane.
Children's show.
Yeah.
I love when they do those things in children's shows though, because like the adults are watching too, but like.
And it's one of those things where it looks like they could just be like doing we gotta get out of here. But if you're looking close enough, you can see that they just have the finger out. It's wonderful.
That's cute.
Aside from that, I really have not been doing a whole lot. I've been grinding in TFT. I deranked from Plat 3, but I'm climbing my way back up. They changed a couple of things for balance, and they changed an entire one of the traits in TFT where it functions differently now from how it used to. Basically, it was a thing where your units would get little auto turrets essentially, and however many of the unit you had, or how many of that trait you had, you would get more of them. And now it is just they have the same amount always, but they deal more damage and take less damage if you have more units. And it's weird. But I'm trying. I think that's about all I've done so far.
I forgot to mention, I also changed the name of one of my other accounts so I can play with Amber when she's home, and play on her account when she's not home. And so her league name is Infinite Bambi, right? And now because they combine Riot accounts, you can change your name once to if you have one name in Valorant, one name in Riot, you can change it, right? Makes sense. But it also gives me the power to change the name of my Smurf accounts, which is great. And so one of my mid lane accounts, which I linked a Game Pass to, so I have all the champions on because thanks Xbox. I changed the name from whatever it was to Finite Bambi, or Finite Bambi, Infinite Bambi and Finite Bambi. To which our friend Austin goes, that should be reversed in hindsight, which is fucking amazingly toxic.
So
yeah.
I have largely only really done manga things, and I'm gonna not do the whole run through of Shonen Jump because why we don't need to. I am gonna highlight a couple of things. Since our last podcast, Psych House ended. 17 chapters, worth checking out. It's a very nice little cute story. Probably has one of the better endings of the stuff that's been canceled. It definitely feels like it knew how to wrap in the amount of chapters it had. And I very much enjoyed that read. Ultimate Exorcist, Kiyoshi, is actually really good. I was uncertain of this earlier, I really like the direction that manga's going, and I'm super excited. I really hope it doesn't wind up being kind of in the next wave of cancellations, because by the time it rolls around, it will be near that page count. I think it'll be fine though. I think it's gonna. I think it is different enough from some of the other battle shonen like things, and I think it's really good. Let's briefly talk about Kaiju number 8. When we said mangas were ending, boy is that manga gonna end. You don't go anywhere else after this, but also, oh boy, really
Where
good
do we
chapter.
go? But also, what the fuck do we do
But
here?
you bring the squad together. That's what you do.
Yeah, but like, what do we do when we bring the squad together?
People start going fucking ham. They all start popping off.
Sure.
Sure, I guess.
We cash in on that thing from 50 chapters ago.
Yeah, whatever that means.
That's very clearly what we're like setting up to have like be the thing.
Yeah, but
I
you gotta buy them time. So you need everybody who has a fucking kaiju grade weapon to come in and start doing shit. They can all get there in time, I believe.
But definitely not all weekend and like dying.
That hasn't stopped any of them any time before.
No, literally never.
Death is merely a suggestion.
It is wild, the extent of how long the one event that is happening right now has continued to go on.
And it will continue until the end of the manga.
It's legitimately going to be more than half the manga by the time it's done.
Yeah. The other only ongoing thing that is not new for me to have been reading, which is where we're going to go into after this, is Dogs Red. Because of course I need to talk about Dogs Red. Dogs Red at 32 or 33? 32
Something
chapters.
like
32 chapters is finally having its first ice hockey match. And on top of that ice hockey match opens with an immediate penalty. Let's fucking go, boys. We're finally in.
I didn't know it was out.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, it came out yesterday.
It came out the same day as Shiba Inu released.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. It just didn't come up in my
Oh no.
my queue.
You should. It's a good chapter.
Yeah, I'm reading it right now.
Yeah, I never need to check when Shiba Inu gets a new chapter because I can guaranteed have one of you two or both of you make a comment about the new chapter.
Because they all go.
The second it comes out.
Manga Plus now also, because I now am subscribed to Manga Plus. Manga Plus will also now notify me when the stuff goes up, which is nice. I have notifications turned on for it, so anything I have favorited, it will tell me when a new chapter comes out for it.
It'd be sick if Manga Plus had a
web
PC
browser?
platform.
Yeah, it's
like
crazy.
a web browser version that like functioned.
Yeah, you need the app.
So crazy if they did that.
It's a little silly. So, I have then obviously been reading things on Manga Plus. There's a long list of things I've checked out on Manga Plus, because some of them I've dropped immediately, some of them I'm just kind of dabbling in, I'm not super invested in. I'm going to talk about the 4 that I'm actually either fully caught up on, or am about to catch up on. So, first up, I'm going to talk about Hope You're Happy Lemon. Hope You're Happy Lemon is fucking wild. John, this is the first page of Hope You're Happy Lemon.
Hope You're Happy Lemon.
This is on Manga Plus. So I'm gonna send that. Now, John,
Poor guy.
the plot of this manga is that these two characters body swap every day.
Oh no.
So the idea is that this guy
I've seen this hentai. I mean,
this guy has largely gotten over his ex and has a new romantic interest he is pursuing. She is wonderful. She is a great character. Fantastic.
Is she?
Not this one. The new girl.
Is he body swapping with the new girl? Body swapping
No,
with this girl?
with his ex, who's on the first panel.
Oh, that sucks ass.
But you find out that his ex is his new love interest's roommate.
Oh.
And so antics ensue. This is
That's
one
a
of the
word for
most
it.
well-handled body swap mangas I've ever read. It very much addresses some of the immediate things that might complicate it right out of the gate. It does it in very mature and well-handled ways. The dynamics that the characters wind up developing are really cool and interesting. Where they go with that first panel, the manga has not yet fully addressed this, but there are characters who know about it and who understand what went into that first panel happening.
Why she's fucking 3 other dudes?
It certainly is. It becomes pretty apparent pretty quick when you get to know this character what exactly happened. But I think this is a really interesting manga. I had a really great time reading this.
It's over though?
No, it's not over. It's still ongoing.
Okay, good.
It has its next chapter, so actually coming out. It's coming out today. It's gonna come out today. So it has 37 chapters out right now. Next up on the Manga Plus docket.
Say the name of that one again. I'll probably.
Hope You're Happy, Lemon.
Okay.
So her name,
I'll try
the ex's name is Lemon. You're gonna love the other girl. You're gonna love the new love interest. She's fucking phenomenal. And he's a pretty okay main character. And then we have the Days of Diamond, which is a baseball manga. 65 chapters out right now, also ongoing. Its chapters come out a lot more spaced. It looks like it gets a chapter a month or so. I'm enjoying this. This is about a kid. This manga follows kids who are playing like under 12 years old in Japan. So like the under 12 team, and then it follows them past that into being like approaching, under 15. In relation to that, the main character is really fucking tall for his age, and as such is a killer pitcher. But his whole thing that it sets up is that he has tried a bunch of different sports. He gets really into each of the sports. He hyperfixates on them. He gets really good at them. And coaches, because he's young, want to try to like get him in line to like start pursuing it. And so he gets more attention than other kids on teams. And they wind up disliking him, and parents wind up complaining about him, and he winds up leaving the sports because he doesn't like that. So he gravitates towards baseball because it's a team sport. And he finds out that problem actually still persists in baseball. And so part of the whole story of the Days of Diamond is him going, I'm really good at pitching. That can make for really boring or unfun games for other people. And so he struggles to figure out what he wants to do and how he wants to play the game. Because he ideally does not want to ruin the game for other people.
He just fucking throws games, literally. Fix them to make it more fun.
There are some. They certainly do talk about things like that. Next up, this is a more recent one I started reading. It only has 18 chapters out right now. The 2 most recent chapters have been bonus chapters, because the mangaka is having neck pains. But this is The God Before Me. This is a shogi manga. The main character is the whole selling point of this manga. He is the most anxiety-ridden, fucking in his own head, like professional shogi player you've ever seen. I explained to Michael, this man has walked into a river 5 times in this manga so far. There is a chapter, and honestly, I fucking adore this chapter. He is set up to, he has lost enough games now where to promote out of his division in shogi, he now has to win 9 games straight. Which is not an easy thing to do. In the second game that he plays, where he now has to win, he wins the first one, and then he has to play. He goes to play the second one. The guy he is playing against is very egotistical. He's like, no one is going to beat me. This guy is nothing. He shows up to the game soaked, drenched, and with a crawfish on his shoulder. And the guy goes, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" He goes, "I walked into a river." And they go, "Why did you walk into a river?" He goes, "I was too busy thinking about how I was gonna beat you in the shogi match." This dude is wonderful. I really enjoy this manga. I think it's a really nice time. The characters are really. There is a match he plays against an older shogi player. This mangaka goes on an AI rant, where he rants about AI, through the main character. But so there's an older shogi player who now uses AI to kind of like keep up with his methods and practice. And that game is very much like new age shogi player playing against an old age shogi player who is no longer playing with like the instinct and passion he once had, and it's a really good match. The final thing I want to talk about that I am reading, that I am on chapter 29 out of 91, so we're working our way through this one, is Kindergarten Wars. This manga's incredible. This manga's so fucking adorable. I love it so much. So the premise of Kindergarten Wars is that there is a high profile kindergarten where all the important people's kids go. And to keep them safe from assassins, the kindergarten employs former criminals, also mainly assassins. The main character, Rita, her goal, and the whole idea is that these assassins, if they, protect these kids long enough and don't die, eventually get the right to have their crimes pardoned and they can go live a normal life. The main character, Rita, her goal, as an assassin, what she wants to accomplish after she gets out of being a kindergarten teacher, is she wants to find the ideal guy to date. She's looking for a hot guy to date. And so she has a checklist of the most attractive type of guy. She has, I think we've gone through like 17. We know like 1 to 17 of what type and style of guy she's attracted to. And every time she runs into a hot assassin, she asks them like a laundry list of questions to see if they are actually worth dating. Yeah. So like one of her first questions she asks is, "What do you eat first when you get ramen?" And there are lots of ways in her mind to answer that question wrong, and they're all wonderful. There's a scene where she's fighting off about, I think, 15 hot assassins, and the answer to every question that she asks is Pachinko, and they all get fucking murked. Because that is not the answer she is looking for. It is a really cute romance that is also batshit insane, wild, goofy. Because like the entire kindergarten playground is made out of like high profile like titanium, so they can tear apart like the playground to use it to defend the kids. It's a real big goof of a time, and I just adore it. That is my current big read. I wanna get a photo of this. I wanna get a photo of this. There's a couple of absolutely wonderful. Rita's insane. She is. She just is fucking wild of a main character. I adore her. God, I wanna... Yeah, so this is a screenshot of Rita. I'm gonna get ready for you guys. And you'll see precisely why I think she's wonderful, and why the tone of this manga is great. Here's Rita.
I see that, I just think of the main character from Derivative.
Please protect the child.
I don't know why.
But no, very good. I'm checking out other things. I plan to catch up on Otokonoko. I'm able to keep up with Marriage Toxin when the site doesn't update, which is nice. I could just flat full read it. That's really good. That hit 100 chapters. The colored spread, the color cover for the chapter was really cool. That new chapter 100 sets up something that depending on where the author goes with it, I'm either gonna be a huge fan of or I'm not gonna like it all.
Sounds like this chapter of One Piece this week.
Interesting.
This chapter One Piece was something.
For Michael,
it's something I'm not sure if I'm gonna love or not, but that's kind of what Oda does.
For Michael and Mason, chapter 100 of Marriage Toxin focuses on Kinosaki.
I had a feeling that's going to Elbath. That's cute.
Because there's certifiably there's ways you can go with Kinosaki, and some of them will be very
Let me just say some of the comments on that chapter are hoping for something that I do not want to be the case. Because I like the way this character is. But
by the way, I do gotta get going.
Yep, that is literally it. I do want to point out one quick thing before we go. Yep. Guys, we have 6 shows left and 3 of them are mine. How the fuck did we let this happen?
Good job, Sean. Proud of you.
Good job.
Our little boy grows up so fast.
Just gotta survive a couple of wheels. You know? It's okay. I'm content, most likely.
What's it like to survive a single wheel, Sean? I'd love to know.
Well, after losing multiple of them in a row to myself, it's pretty good. I won't lie.
It's impossible to lose if you're the only option.
It's
possible
to
not to lose. That's what I meant.
No, it's impossible. It's possible to lose. You lose and you win. Sometimes you lose twice. But either way, thank you guys for tuning in. Next week, 6 shows. We'll have my favorite top 3, bottom 3 on the power ranking. Definitely gonna feel accurate in our representation of the shows, I'm sure. But we will see you next Friday.
Bye-bye.